What if the boy who dreamed of becoming Hokage was born with the power to shatter worlds? What if Naruto Uzumaki possessed the abilities of the strongest man in the world? This is the story of a shinobi whose very presence makes the earth tremble, whose fists crack reality itself, and whose dream isn't just acknowledgment, but creating an unbreakable family that would stand against the entire shinobi world.
The Hokage monument exploded, not metaphorically, not gradually. One moment, the carved stone faces of Konoha's greatest leaders stood proud against the morning sky. The next, a massive crack split vertically through all four faces, spider-webbing across the cliff face with sounds like thunder given physical form. Dust erupted in massive plumes as chunks of rock the size of houses broke free and tumbled down the mountainside. In the academy courtyard below, Naruto Uzumaki stood with his right fist extended, black energy dissipating from his knuckles, his other hand gripping a massive Bicento that stood taller than any of the gathered students. At 12 years old, he towered at 6 feet 2 inches of pure muscle. His blonde hair wild, his whisker-marked face split in a grin that showed too many teeth. Gurarararara! His laugh boomed across the suddenly silent courtyard. Whoops. Guess I used too much Busoshoku haki on that one. Iruka Umino stood frozen, his clipboard falling from nerveless fingers. Around the courtyard, parents who'd come to watch team assignments scrambled backward. Jonin instructors reached for weapons they knew would be useless. Academy students who'd graduated alongside Naruto pressed themselves against walls, their faces pale. The blonde monster in their midst just scratched his head sheepishly, though his grin never faltered. Old man Hokage's gonna be pissed, huh? Hiruzen Sarutobi, the third Hokage, materialized in the courtyard in a swirl of leaves, his aged face tight with controlled panic. Behind him came a squad of Anbu who took one look at Naruto and subtly positioned themselves between the boy and the civilians. Naruto. Hiruzen's voice was carefully neutral. What did I say about demonstrations? You said no demonstrations, Naruto admitted, his massive Bicento, Muraku Mogiri he called it, resting casually against his shoulder. The weapon was a work of art, its blade gleaming in the morning sun, perfectly balanced despite being larger than most men. But Mizuki said I couldn't possibly be as strong as everyone claimed, said I was just a freak with weird powers who'd wash out as a genin. Every eye turned to Mizuki, who'd gone the color of old snow. The Chunin instructor raised his hands defensively. I was just... So I figured I'd show him what a real demonstration looked like. Naruto's blue eyes, usually so warm, went cold. Don't insult my family, Mizuki. The villagers who run the ramen stand, old man Tochi and Ayame, they're precious to me. Iruka-sensei, who actually gave a damn, he's precious to me. This village protected them, so I protect this village. He turned his gaze to the cracked monument. But yeah, maybe I overdid it on the power output. The ground beneath their feet trembled slightly, and everyone instinctively grabbed for support. Stop that, Hiruzen said tiredly. No more tremors. We've had enough property damage for one morning. Naruto's grin returned full force. Come on, old man. When are you going to let me show what I can really do? That was barely a love tap with basic armament. Your love tap just destroyed a national landmark. I'll fix it. I've got earth manipulation down pretty solid now. Give me a few hours with some chakra and Naruto. Hiruzen's voice carried the weight of command. Team assignments. Now, we'll discuss your demonstration later. The blonde demigod shrugged, his Bicento shifting slightly on his shoulder. Around him, the other graduates gave him a wide berth as Iruka, hands shaking slightly, picked up his clipboard and began reading team assignments. Naruto barely listened until he heard his name. Team Guy, Naruto Uzumaki, Rock Lee, and Tenten. Your Jonin instructor is Might Guy. Naruto's head snapped up. Guy? The Green Beast? As if summoned by his name, a whirlwind of green spandex appeared in the courtyard, striking a pose that would have been ridiculous if not for the raw power emanating from the man. Might Guy grinned, his teeth sparkling despite the dust in the air, his bowl cut somehow perfect despite having just moved at speeds most Jonin couldn't track. Yosh, my youthful students! Guy's voice boomed with enthusiasm. I am honored to. He stopped mid-pose, his eyes finally landing on Naruto. The enthusiasm dimmed slightly, replaced by something more calculating. Ah, Naruto Uzumaki, the tremor demon himself. That's not my title, Naruto protested. I prefer the strongest, more straightforward. The reports about you did not do justice to your presence. Guy dropped his pose, approaching Naruto with the cautious respect one apex predator showed another. You are powerful. This is clear. But power without purpose is merely destruction. Naruto's grin widened. Then it's good I've got purpose. My precious people, my family, I protect them. Everything else is just details. And the Hokage dream? Every genin wants to. I don't give a damn about being Hokage. The words cut through the courtyard like a blade. Gasps echoed from various corners. Even Hiruzen's eyes widened slightly. Naruto planted Murakumogiri point down in the dirt with enough force to crack the stone beneath. Being Hokage means protecting the village by following rules, playing politics, managing resources. That's not me. I just want people I can call family, people I destroy the world to protect. Everything else? He shrugged. Don't care. Guy studied him for a long moment, then nodded slowly. An honest answer. I respect that. Come, meet your teammates. Rock Lee stood nearby, his round eyes fixed on Naruto with something approaching worship. The boy wore the same green jumpsuit as Guy, his bowl cut equally ridiculous, but his stance was that of a trained fighter. Beside him, Tenten looked significantly less enthusiastic, her brown hair tied in twin buns, her hands resting near her weapon pouches. Naruto-san! Lee's voice practically vibrated with excitement. Your demonstration was incredible! The speed! The power! The perfect form of your strike. I have so many questions about your training regimen. Gurararara. Naruto's laugh made several nearby genin flinch. You're an enthusiastic one, aren't you? I like that. What's your name, kid? Rock Lee. I am a taijutsu specialist who cannot use ninjutsu or genjutsu, but I will prove that hard work and dedication can overcome any genius. Naruto's grin softened into something more genuine. Can't use ninjutsu? That's rough, but you've got spirit. I respect that. He looked the boy up and down, noting the calluses on Lee's hands, the perfect balance of his stance, the determination burning in his eyes. Yeah, you'll do. You're family now, Lee. Lee's eyes went wide. Family? That's what I said. You're my first crew member, my brother. Naruto extended a hand, and when Lee took it, the blonde's grip was firm but controlled. Anyone messes with you, they answer to me. Got it? Tears actually welled in Lee's eyes. Naruto-san! Just Naruto, we're family throat. And me? Do I get inducted into this family too? Naruto turned his attention to her, his Kenbun Shokuhaki, his observation spirit, reading her emotional state. Skepticism, wariness, but also curiosity. You're a weapons specialist, right? I can feel it in the way you stand. You know your tools. She blinked. How did you? I know weapons. He hefted Murakumogiri one-handed, the massive Basento moving like it weighed nothing. This beauty is a supreme-grade weapon. I forged it myself when I was 10. Took me 6 months to get the balance perfect. You respect your tools, you treat them right, and you're my family too. Guy clapped his hands together. Excellent, such youthful bonding. Now my students we must celebrate with. The ground suddenly trembled, cutting him off. Not from Naruto this time, but from the damaged monument finally giving way. A massive section of rock, the entire right half of the fourth Hokage's carved face, broke free with a groan of tortured stone. Shit. Naruto moved. One moment he stood in the courtyard. The next, he was 50 feet up the cliff face, his legs pumping with speed that made Guy's eyes narrow in appreciation. His Kenbun Shokuhaki showed him the trajectory of falling rock, the civilians in its path, the half-second window he had to act. Naruto's right fist erupted with black Buso Shokuhaki, the armament hardening his skin to something stronger than steel. Around his knuckles, the air itself began to crack. Shinkuha, the tremor sphere technique. He didn't swing at the falling rock. Instead, he punched the air itself. The spatial crack expanded outward like a window shattering in reverse. The shockwave caught the falling debris mid-fall, and instead of shattering it, Naruto controlled the tremor's direction with precision born from years of practice. The rock chunks redirected sideways, away from the civilians, and crashed into the empty training ground beside the academy. Naruto landed back in the courtyard, dust settling around him. See? Barely any collateral damage that time. Hiruzen pinched the bridge of his nose. Naruto, we need to have a very long conversation about. Later, old man. I've got a team to get to know. He turned to Guy. So, Sensei, when do we start? Guy's grin returned full force. Such passion, such initiative. Team Guy, meet me at Training Ground 3 in 1 hour. We shall test your limits with the springtime of youth. As the crowd began to disperse, people giving Naruto a wide berth, Lee fell into step beside the blonde giant. Naruto-san, Naruto, your technique just now, the way you redirected that entire rock slide with a single punch. How is that possible? What type of jutsu was that? Wasn't a jutsu, Naruto said casually, Murakumogiri returning to his shoulder. That's just my power. I was born with it. The tremor ability, I call it the Gura Gura no Mi power, though I've got no idea where that name comes from. Just feels right. I can create earthquakes, shockwaves, tremors, crack the air itself, and send the force wherever I want. Tenten jogged to catch up. Born with it? That's impossible. Kekkei Genkai require. I don't care what the books say, Naruto interrupted, not unkindly. I've had this power since I can remember. Discovered it when I was 4 and accidentally cracked my apartment floor. Spent the next 8 years learning to control it, developing techniques, pushing my limits. He glanced at her. And before you ask about the black coating, that's Busoshoku Haki. Armament spirit. It hardens whatever I coat and can bypass normal defenses. I've got 2 other types too, but we'll get to those later. Haki? Lee's eyes shone. Is that a taijutsu technique? Can I learn it? Maybe. Dunno yet. Never tried teaching anyone. Naruto paused at the academy gate, looking back at the damaged monument. Probably should fix that before the old man has a heart attack. He set Murakumogiri against the gate and closed his eyes, his hands coming together in a seal. When he opened his eyes again, they held a different kind of focus. Earth release, continental reformation. Chakra flooded from Naruto's body in waves that made the air shimmer. The ground responded to his will, and slowly, impossibly, the cracked monument began to repair itself. Rock flowed like water, gaps sealed, cracks mended. It wasn't perfect, some of the detail work was lost, but within 5 minutes, the monument stood whole again. There. Naruto picked up his basento. Good as new, mostly. Tenten stared. That technique, that's S-rank earth manipulation. How did you? I'm strong, Naruto said simply. Come on, Training Ground 3 won't wait forever. As they walked through Konoha's streets, the civilians' reactions were impossible to miss. Some stared in awe, others in fear. Parents pulled children behind them. Shopkeepers watched from doorways. But a few, a precious few, nodded in respect or even offered small waves. An old man running a ramen stand called out, Naruto, good job saving those people. Tochi, Naruto's entire demeanor brightened. Thanks, old man. I'll come by later for some miso. On the house! You saved my daughter. The warmth in Naruto's expression as he waved back made Lee smile. You really care about them. They're my precious people. Old man Tochi and Ayame were the first to treat me like a human instead of a... He trailed off, then shrugged. Doesn't matter. They're family. I'd level this entire village before I'd let anyone hurt them. The casual statement, delivered with complete sincerity, made Tenten shiver. They reached Training Ground 3 to find Guy already there, having set up what looked like an obstacle course from hell. Weighted logs, rope challenges, targets at impossible distances, the works. My youthful students, Guy struck another pose. Today we shall test your capabilities. Rock Lee, you know the drill. Tenten, you will demonstrate your weapons mastery, and Naruto. Guy's expression grew serious. You will show me everything. No holding back. Gurarara! Now that's what I like to hear. Naruto drove Murakumogiri into the ground and cracked his knuckles. What's first? First, we run. 50 laps around the training ground. Last one to finish does 100 push-ups. Lee was already running, his speed impressive for a genin. Tenten sighed and followed. Naruto just grinned. Sensei, you sure about this? When I run, I tend to crack the ground. Then learn to control it. Part of strength is precision. Fair enough. Naruto took off. The ground beneath his feet spider-webbed with hairline cracks, but he was already learning to pull back the ambient tremor energy his body naturally radiated. His speed was absurd. Not as fast as pure teleportation techniques, but easily Jonin level. He lapped Tenten 3 times before she finished her first circuit, and even caught up to Lee, who was pushing himself to his absolute limit. Come on, brother, Naruto called as he passed. You can go faster. I can sense it. Push harder. Lee's eyes blazed with determination, and somehow, impossibly, he found another gear. Not enough to match Naruto, but enough to impress Guy, who watched with proud tears streaming down his face. When Naruto finished his 50th lap in under 10 minutes, he wasn't even breathing hard. Guy nodded slowly. Your physical conditioning is exceptional. Your chakra reserves feel enormous. Multiple times a Jonin's capacity at minimum. Guy crossed his arms. Now show me your combat abilities. Spar with me. No holding back. Lee and Tenten, both panting from their run, moved to the sidelines. Naruto retrieved Murakumogiri and took a ready stance, his basento held in both hands. You sure, sensei? I tend to break things when I fight. Then break things. Show me the power that destroyed the Hokage monument. Gurarara, you asked for it. Naruto moved first, closing the distance in a blur of speed. His basento came down in a vertical slash that would have split Guy in half, but the Jonin dodged with impressive reflexes. The blade hit the ground and kept going, splitting earth like water, creating a fissure 20 feet deep. Guy responded with a devastating kick, aimed at Naruto's head. The blonde's Kenbun-shoku haki predicted it a half-second early, giving him time to block with Murakumogiri's shaft. The impact created a shockwave that flattened grass in a 10-foot radius. Nice speed, Naruto grinned. But watch this, Kabutowari. He swung his Bisento in a horizontal arc, and the blade erupted with tremor energy. The air itself cracked as the quake-enhanced slash ripped toward Guy. The Jonin had just enough time to substitute with a log, which promptly exploded into splinters from the force. Guy reappeared behind Naruto, his leg already moving in a roundhouse kick. You relied too much on raw power. Naruto's body turned black, full-body Busoshoku Haki activation. Guy's kick connected with what should have been Naruto's vulnerable side, but it was like kicking a mountain. The Jonin's eyes widened as pain shot through his leg. That's armament Haki, Naruto explained, turning to face Guy. Makes my body harder than steel. Your taijutsu's great, sensei, but against me? He grinned. You'll need something special. Then witness the power of youth. Guy's body erupted with green energy as he opened the first gate. His speed tripled instantly, and his next assault was a blur of strikes that would have overwhelmed most Jonin. Naruto's Kenbun-shoku haki predicted each attack. His Busoshoku haki defended against the ones he couldn't dodge, and when he found an opening, he struck back with Shinkuha, a quake sphere around his fist that caught Guy in the chest. The impact sent the Jonin flying backward, crashing through 2 trees before he caught himself. Guy stood, shaking his head in amazement. That power? Naruto, if you can do this at 12, what will you be capable of at 20? Who knows? Naruto's grin was feral. Want to find out? I've got plenty more techniques. No. Guy waved his hands. I've seen enough. If we continue, we'll destroy the entire training ground. He walked back, rubbing his chest where Naruto's punch had landed. Your power is extraordinary. Your control needs work, but your instincts are excellent. Now, Tenten, show me your abilities. As Tenten demonstrated her weapon summoning and throwing accuracy, impressive, but nothing compared to what they just witnessed, Lee approached Naruto with stars in his eyes. That was incredible, the way you predicted Guy-sensei's movements, the hardening technique, the earthquake punch. Naruto, please, you must teach me. Gurarara! You can't learn my tremor powers, Lee. Born with those. But haki? Naruto scratched his chin thoughtfully. Maybe. It's all about spirit pressure, about imposing your will on reality. The armament haki I used to harden my body, that might be teachable. It took me 3 years to figure out, though. I will train every day. 1,000 push-ups, 1,000 sit-ups. I will master this haki and prove that hard work can... Easy there, brother. Naruto clapped a hand on Lee's shoulder, careful to control his strength. First, let's see if you've got the basics. Haki starts with meditation, with understanding your own spirit. You free tonight? Yes, I am completely free. Good, come to my apartment. We'll start the basics. Naruto's grin softened into something genuine. You've got potential, Lee. I can sense it. You just need the right direction. Tears actually flowed down Lee's cheeks. You truly mean it? You will train me? You're my brother now, my family. Of course I'll train you. Naruto looked over at Tenten, who'd finished her demonstration. You too, if you want. The armament haki would make your weapons even deadlier. Tenten hesitated, then nodded slowly. Yes, I'd like that. Thank you. Guy cleared his throat. A beautiful display of teamwork. But remember, my youthful students, I am your primary instructor. Any training Naruto provides must supplement, not replace, our team exercises. Of course, Sensei, Naruto said easily. You're the Jonin, you're in charge. I just figure Lee and I have got similar fighting styles. Taijutsu focus, physical enhancement. Makes sense to train together. Indeed, then as your first official team exercise, we shall have a competition. Guy's teeth sparkled. Naruto versus Rock Lee, a race. Not of speed, but of endurance. You will both run until one of you collapses. This will teach you the value of pacing yourselves. Naruto and Lee exchanged glances, then grinned in perfect sync. You're on, they said together. What followed was less a race and more a testament to absurd endurance. Lee pushed himself until his legs trembled, until sweat poured down his face, until every breath was agony. And still he ran. Naruto, who could have lapped him 100 times, deliberately paced himself to stay just ahead, calling out encouragement. Come on, brother. You've got more in you. Push past the pain. Your body can take it. I will not give up, Lee gasped. That's the spirit, Gurara. Tenten watched from the sidelines with something approaching disbelief. They've been running for 4 hours. How are they still going? Guy nodded proudly. Lee has the springtime of youth burning in his heart, and Naruto is a monster in the truest sense. His stamina is beyond anything I've encountered. Finally, after 6 hours of continuous running, Lee's legs gave out. He collapsed mid-step, his body simply refusing to continue. Naruto stopped immediately, kneeling beside his fallen teammate. You did good, brother. 6 hours straight. That's impressive. I lost, Lee panted. You didn't lose. You pushed yourself to your absolute limit. That's winning in my book. Naruto carefully picked Lee up, the smaller boy weighing nothing to his enhanced strength, and carried him to the shade. Rest. You've earned it. Guy applauded. Excellent work, both of you. Lee, you showed the passion of youth. Naruto, you demonstrated restraint and teamwork. Tomorrow, we begin missions. Missions? Naruto perked up. What kind? D rank to start. Every Genin team must prove themselves with basic assignments before moving to combat missions. Naruto's face fell. D rank? You mean like catching cats and weeding gardens? It builds character. It builds boredom. Naruto sighed. Fine. But when we move to real missions, the kind with actual fighting, I want the toughest ones available. We shall see. Guy struck his final pose of the day. Team Guy dismissed. Rest well. Tomorrow we show Konoha the power of youth. As the sun began to set, Naruto walked Lee and Ten to the village proper. Lee could barely walk after his run, so Naruto carried both him and his Basento without complaint. Tenten walked alongside, her expression thoughtful. You really are strong, she said finally. I thought the rumors were exaggerated. The stories about you shattering stone with punches, about you training with weapons that weigh more than I do. But it's all true, isn't it? Yep, Naruto grinned. I'm the strongest. That's just a fact. But strength without people to protect? That's just violence. I need my family, my precious people. Lee's my brother now. You're my sister. Guy's our sensei. Old man Tucci and Ayame are my family too. That's what matters. Why don't you want to be Hokage? Tenten asked. With your power, you could probably take the position by force. Because I don't want it. Naruto's voice was firm. The Hokage has to protect everyone in the village equally, has to follow laws, negotiate with other villages, play politics. That's not me. I protect my family. Everyone else? He shrugged. Not my problem unless they threaten my people. That's surprisingly honest. I don't lie about who I am. Naruto paused at a residential street. This is where I turn off. Lee, you good to walk. Lee, who'd recovered somewhat, slid from Naruto's arms and stood on shaky legs. Yes, thank you, Naruto. I will see you tomorrow. Remember, my place tonight. Hockey training basics. I will be there. After Lee and Tenten headed home, Naruto made his way to his apartment, a small place on the edge of the village that the Hokage had provided. It wasn't much, but it was his. He set Murakumogiri against the wall and collapsed onto his bed, which groaned under his weight. His thoughts drifted to the day's events. Team Guy, Lee's enthusiasm, Tenten's cautious acceptance, Guy's genuine attempt to teach despite the massive power gap. It was nice. Having people who didn't just fear him or hate him, a knock at the door interrupted his thoughts. It's open. Lee entered, his eyes wide as he took in Naruto's apartment. It was sparse. A bed, a table, some training equipment, and weapons covering nearly every wall. Swords, spears, staffs, all carefully maintained. You collect weapons? Lee asked. I make them. Well, some of them. Others I've acquired. Naruto stood and moved to a clear space in the center of the room. All right, brother. Haki lesson 1. Understanding your spirit. Sit. Lee sat cross-legged on the floor. Naruto joined him. Haki isn't chakra, Naruto began. It's something different, something deeper. It's your willpower given form, your spirit imposing itself on the world. There are 3 types. Kenbunshoku, observation haki, lets you sense others, predict attacks, feel emotions. Busoshoku, armament haki, hardens your body and weapons, bypasses defenses. Houshoku, conqueror's haki, knocks out weak-willed opponents and can code attacks with devastating power. Lee's eyes shone. You possess all 3? Yeah, took me years to develop each one. We'll start with observation since it's the easiest to awaken. Close your eyes, Lee obeyed. Now, forget about seeing, forget about hearing. Instead, feel. Feel the air moving, feel my presence, feel the intention behind my movements. Naruto slowly reached out to tap Lee's shoulder. Can you sense where I'm going to touch? Lee's face scrunched in concentration. I am not sure. Don't think, feel. Naruto tried again, moving from a different angle. This time, Lee's hand twitched in the right direction. There, you felt it! That's the start! They practiced for hours, Naruto moving around Lee while the younger boy attempted to sense his position. By the time night had fully fallen, Lee could correctly identify Naruto's location about half the time. That's enough for today, Naruto said, standing and stretching. Observation haki takes time to develop. Practice this every night before bed. Eventually, you'll be able to sense attacks before they land. Lee stood, bowing deeply. Thank you, Naruto. This training is invaluable. We're family. This is what family does. Naruto walked Lee to the door. Get some rest. Tomorrow's probably going to be boring D-rank missions, but who knows? Maybe we'll get lucky. After Lee left, Naruto returned to his bed, his mind already turning to the future. He was strong, stronger than any genin had a right to be. But he wasn't satisfied. There were people out there who could challenge him. Jonin-level opponents. Maybe even Kaj level, his hand clenched into a fist, black armament coating his knuckles. I'll get stronger. Strong enough to protect everyone I care about. Strong enough that no one will ever threaten my family. The next morning, Team Guy assembled at the Hokage Tower for their first mission assignment. Naruto arrived last, Murakumogiri strapped to his back, his presence making civilians in the hallways press against walls. You're late, Guy said, though he was grinning. Had to help old man Tucci with some heavy lifting. One of his supply shipments came in. Naruto shrugged. He's family. Couldn't say no. Hiruzen looked up from his desk, his expression resigned. Ah, Team Guy, I have several D-rank missions available. There's a cat that needs catching like a garden that needs weeding, and pass, Naruto said flatly. Excuse me? I said pass. Give us something with actual danger. Bandits, missing nin, something worth our time. Naruto, all genin teams must complete D-rank missions before. Old man, I destroyed your monument yesterday and put it back together. I sparred with Guy Sensei and won. I can create earthquakes that would level buildings. You really think I need to prove myself by catching cats? Hiruzen's eyes narrowed. The rules exist for a reason. Then bend them. You're the Hokage. You can do that. Naruto leaned forward, his full height and presence bearing down. Give us a C rank, something in the field. If we fail, you can make us do 100 D ranks. Deal? The Hokage and the blonde titan stared at each other for a long moment. Finally, Hiruzen sighed. Very well. I have a C rank mission escorting a bridge builder to Wave Country. There may be bandits, but nothing a genin team can't handle. Perfect. Naruto's grin returned. When do we leave? Tomorrow morning. The client will meet you at the village gates at dawn. Hiruzen pulled out a scroll. Guy, you're approved for this mission, but remember, Naruto's power makes him a target. Other villages have already begun circulating reports about the Tremor Demon. Keep your students safe. With the power of youth, we shall overcome any obstacle. Guy gave a thumbs up, his teeth sparkling. As they left the tower, Tenten voiced the concern on everyone's mind. Wave Country is across water. If we run into actual danger, then I'll handle it, Naruto said confidently. That's what family does. The strong protect the weak, no offense. Some taken, Tenten muttered, but she was smiling slightly. Lee pumped his fist. This will be our first real mission. I am so excited I could do 1,000 laps around the village. Please don't, Guy said quickly. Save your energy for tomorrow. Tonight, rest and prepare. We leave at dawn. The next morning arrived with gray clouds and the promise of rain. At the village gates, an old bridge builder named Tazuna waited, a bottle of sake in hand and skepticism written across his weathered face. This is my protection? A bunch of kids? Tazuna took a swig of sake. Great. I'm definitely gonna die. You won't die, Naruto said, his voice carrying absolute certainty. You're under my protection now. That makes you family, and I don't let my family get hurt. Tazuna blinked at the massive 12-year-old towering over him. You're confident. I'm strong. There's a difference. Naruto turned to his team. All right, family, standard formation. Guy-sensei takes point. I'll take rear guard. Lee, Tenten, you stay in the middle with the client. Anything happens, you protect Tazuna while I handle the threat. Clear? Clear! Lee and Tenten responded together. Guy nodded approvingly. Good tactical thinking, Naruto. Move out! They'd been traveling for 3 hours when Naruto's Kenbunshoku Haki pinged a warning. He held up a fist, and the entire group stopped immediately. We've got company, Naruto said quietly. 2 signatures, hiding in the trees ahead, hostile intent. Guy's expression grew serious. How can you tell? Observation Haki. I can sense their emotions, their bloodlust. They're waiting to ambush us. Naruto's hand moved to Murakumogiri. Should I handle it? No. This is a learning opportunity. Guy's eyes swept the trees. Lee, Tenten, combat formation. Protect the client. Naruto, be ready to intervene if needed. 2 figures dropped from the trees. Chunin-level ninja with hidden mist headbands and vicious-looking clawed gauntlets attached to chains. They moved as one, their chains whipping out to entangle the group. Lee reacted with impressive speed, his body blurring as he dodged the first chain and countered with a devastating kick. His strike connected with one attacker's guard, forcing them back. Tenten unsealed a barrage of kunai, forcing the second attacker to dodge. The fight was brief but intense. These weren't mere bandits. They were trained ninja with killer intent. One of them broke through Lee's defense and lunged for Tazuna. Their clawed gauntlet aimed for the old man's throat. Naruto moved. The world seemed to slow as he crossed the distance in a single step, his hand reaching out. He caught the attacker's wrist mid-strike, and his grip, enhanced with Busoshoku Haki, was unbreakable. Big mistake, Naruto said softly. He squeezed and bones shattered. The attacker screamed, dropping their weapon. Naruto's other hand shot out, grabbing them by the throat, and he lifted them off the ground one-handed. You tried to hurt my family, Naruto said, his voice cold. That's the last mistake you'll ever make. His hand erupted with tremor energy, Shinkuha coating his grip. The vibrations traveled through the attacker's body, and they went limp, unconscious from the internal trauma. The second attacker tried to flee. They made it 3 steps before Naruto's thrown kunai, coated in armament haki, pierced their leg and pinned them to a tree. The blonde was on them in an instant, Murakumogiri's blade at their throat. Talk. Who sent you? Why are you after the bridge builder? The attacker, faced with certain death, broke immediately. Gato, the shipping magnate. He controls Wave Country. He hired us to kill the bridge builder before the bridge is completed. Gato, huh? Naruto's eyes narrowed. Thanks for the info. He reversed his Bisento and struck with the blunt end, knocking the attacker unconscious. Turning back to his team, he found Guy, Lee, and Tenten staring at him with varying expressions of shock. What? Naruto asked. You just took them down in seconds, Ten said weakly. Chunin-level opponents, and you didn't even break a sweat. They threatened my family. Of course I took them seriously. Naruto shrugged, securing the unconscious attackers with rope. We should probably talk to the client now, though. Tazuna, you want to explain why Chunin-level ninja are trying to kill you for building a bridge? Tazuna's face had gone pale. I may have lied about the mission rank. That guy's expression grew stern. Explain. Now. The old bridge builder took a long swig of sake before speaking. Wave Country is controlled by a man named Gato. He runs a shipping company, but he's really a crime lord. He's bled the country dry, and the bridge I'm building, it would break his monopoly on sea travel. He sent assassins before. I couldn't afford a higher ranked mission, so I lied. I'm sorry, but my country needs this bridge. You lied. Naruto's voice was flat. Put my family at risk because you couldn't afford proper protection. I know I'm a terrible person, but please, my daughter and grandson are counting on me. Wave country needs. Relax. Naruto's voice softened slightly. I'm pissed that you lied, but I get it. You're desperate. Your family's in danger. That I understand. He looked at Guy. Sensei, your call. Do we continue or abort? Guy studied Naruto for a long moment. This mission is now at least B rank, possibly A rank if Gato has more assassins. By the rules, we should abort and request appropriate backup. But, Naruto prompted, but Wave Country is suffering. The bridge builder's family needs protection. And, Guy's grin returned. I believe in the power of youth. We continue. Lee cheered. Tenten looked worried but nodded. Naruto just grinned. Grah, that's what I like to hear. All right, Tazuna, you're definitely family now. We'll get you home, build your bridge, and if this Gato wants to try something, his knuckles cracked, black armament coating them. I'll introduce him to the concept of earthquakes. They continued toward Wave Country, but now everyone was on high alert. Naruto's Kenbun Shokuhaki swept the area constantly, searching for threats. When they finally reached the coast and boarded the small boat that would take them across the water, tension was thick enough to cut. Stay low, the boat operator whispered. Gato has patrols everywhere. If they spot us, they die, Naruto said simply. Don't worry, you're under my protection now. The crossing was tense but uneventful. As they approached Wave Country's shore, Naruto's observation haki suddenly screamed a warning. Down! Everyone down! A massive sword, easily 6 feet long, whipped through the space where their heads had been, embedding itself in a tree. Standing on the sword's handle was a man with bandaged face, his hidden mist headband worn sideways, his eyes cold and calculating. Well, well, the man said. Zabuza Momochi, the demon of the hidden mist, at your service. Gato paid me very well to kill the bridge builder. Hand him over, and you kids can live. Guy immediately moved in front of his students, his expression serious. Zabuza Momochi, our rank missing 9. Students, this opponent is beyond your current level. Fall back and protect the client. Like hell, Naruto said, stepping forward. Sensei, with respect, you take the students and the client. This one's mine. Naruto, you can't? Yes, I can. Naruto's voice was absolute certainty. I'm the strongest. That's not arrogance, it's fact. You know it, I know it, and soon he'll know it too. He raised his voice to address Zabuza. Oi, demon of the mist, I'm Naruto Uzumaki, the Tremor King. You want the bridge builder? You go through me. Zabuza's eyes narrowed. Big words from a kid. Let's see if you can back them. He vanished mid-sentence, appearing behind Naruto with his massive sword already swinging. Most genin would have died in that instant. Naruto just grinned. His Kenbun Shokuhaki had predicted the move. His Buso Shokuhaki hardened his Basento as he blocked the strike. The collision of blade on Basento created a shockwave that cracked the ground beneath them. Nice try, Naruto said. But I saw that coming. He pushed back, his strength sending Zabuza skidding backward. The missing Nan's eyes widened in shock. What the? You blocked the executioner's blade with that toothpick? This toothpick is Murakumogiri, a supreme grade weapon. And yeah, I blocked it. Want to see what happens when I go on offense? Naruto's grin widened. Kabutowari! He swung his Basento in a devastating arc, the blade erupting with tremor energy. Zabuza dodged, but the quake-enhanced slash carved a 20-foot gouge in the earth where he'd been standing. What kind of jutsu is that? Zabuza demanded. Not a jutsu, just my power. Naruto closed the distance in a blur of speed. Gekishin! His fist, coated in black armament and surrounded by a Shinkuha tremor sphere, drove towards Zabuza's guard. The missing nin blocked with his massive sword, and the resulting impact sent shockwaves rippling across the entire clearing. Trees bent. Water in the nearby river rippled. The earth cracked. Zabuza was sent flying backward, crashing through 2 trees before catching himself. He stood slowly, his eyes now showing respect alongside caution. You're no ordinary genin. What are you? I'm the strongest, and you threaten my family. Naruto took a ready stance, Murakumogiri gleaming in the dim light. Last chance. Walk away, or I'll show you what real power looks like. I don't run from children. Zabuza made hand seals. Water released hidden mist jutsu. Thick mist rolled in, obscuring everything beyond a few feet. Zabuza's voice echoed from all directions. In this mist, I'm invisible. I can strike from any angle, and you'll never see it coming. Silent killing is my specialty. Naruto closed his eyes. Don't need to see you. I can feel you. His Kenbun Shoku Haki painted a perfect picture of the battlefield. He could sense Zabuza moving through the mist, could feel the killing intent focusing on him, could predict exactly where the next attack would come from. Zabuza struck from behind, his blade aimed for Naruto's neck. The blonde didn't even turn around. He just raised Muraku Mogiri and blocked the strike perfectly. Behind me, huh? Predictable. He spun, his Basento whipping around in a circle that forced Zabuza back. The missing nine tried attacking from the left, then the right, then above. Every time, Naruto's observation haki predicted it, and every block sent Zabuza reeling. Impossible! Zabuza snarled. How are you tracking me? Told you, I can feel you. Your intent, your emotions, your position. It's all clear as day to my observation haki. Naruto grinned in the mist. Want to know what's really scary? I haven't even gotten serious yet. His entire body erupted with black armament haki, the coating so complete it looked like living shadow. Then from his very presence, a pressure began to build. The air grew heavy. Weak-willed animals in the forest fled. Even the mists seemed to recoil. This is how Shoku Haki, Naruto said quietly. Conqueror's spirit, the power to impose your will on reality itself. The pressure exploded outward in a visible wave of force. The mist dispersed instantly, blown away by the sheer pressure of Naruto's willpower. Trees bent, the ground cracked, and Zabuza, caught in the full force of the Conqueror's haki, dropped to one knee, his body trembling. What, this? The missing nin gasped. This is the difference between us. Naruto walked forward, each step deliberate. You're strong, A-rank missing nin, probably one of the best in the mist, but I'm stronger. I've always been stronger, and now you understand. He stopped in front of Zabuza, looking down at the kneeling man. I'm giving you one more chance. Walk away, leave Wave Country, never come back. Do that, and you live. Zabuza's hands trembled as he tried to lift his sword. The Conqueror's haki was too much, his body simply wouldn't obey. I can't, Gato will. Gato's a dead man. He just doesn't know it yet. Naruto's voice was absolute certainty. But you could live. Make your choice. For a long moment, Zabuza knelt there, his pride warring with his survival instinct. Finally, with visible effort, he made his decision. I yield. Naruto's Conqueror's haki immediately retracted, and Zabuza collapsed forward, gasping for breath. The blonde turned back to his team, who stood frozen in shock. Sensei, you got rope? We should probably secure him while he recovers. Guy moved mechanically, producing rope from his pack. As he bound Zabuza's hands, he kept shooting glances at Naruto. That technique, that pressure, Naruto, what was that? How Shoku Haki, Conqueror's spirit. Only 1 in a million people have it. It's the manifestation of my willpower, my determination to protect my family no matter what. Naruto shrugged. I usually don't use it because it's kinda overkill, but Zabuza was strong enough that normal techniques would have taken too long. Lee approached, his eyes shining with tears and admiration. Naruto, that was the most incredible thing I have ever witnessed. You defeated an A-rank missing 9 without breaking a sweat. He was strong. I'm just stronger. Naruto looked at Zabuza, who was slowly recovering. You made the right choice. Once we deal with Gato, you're free to go. Zabuza looked up, his eyes confused. Why spare me? Because you yielded. You made the smart choice, and honestly, Naruto's grin returned. I respect strength. You're strong, just not as strong as me. No shame in that. They secured Zabuza and continued to Tazuna's house, where the bridge builder's daughter Tsunami and grandson Inari greeted them. Inari's eyes went wide when he saw Naruto. You're huge. Are you really a ninja? Yep. Naruto Uzumaki, the strongest there is. Naruto ruffled the kid's hair with surprising gentleness. Don't worry, kid. Your grandpa's safe now. We're gonna build that bridge and kick Gato's ass. Naruto, language, Guy chided. There's a child present. Right. Sorry. Naruto turned to Tsunami. Is there somewhere we can secure our prisoner? He's not gonna cause trouble, but better safe than sorry. That night, as the team settled into Tazuna's house, Naruto stood guard on the roof, his observation haki sweeping the area for threats. Lee joined him after an hour. Can you not sleep? Lee asked. Don't need much sleep. One of the perks of my body. Naruto glanced at his teammate. What about you? Should be resting. I wanted to ask about today. The way you fought Zabuza-san, you were incredible. But also, Lee hesitated. You were so certain you would win. How do you have such confidence? Because I've trained every day since I was 4 years old, Naruto said simply. I've pushed my body past its limits, developed my haki, mastered my tremor powers. I know exactly how strong I am. That's not arrogance, it's self-knowledge. He looked at Lee. But you know what? You could reach that level too. You've got the determination, the spirit. You just need time and training. You truly believe I can become as strong as you? Maybe not with tremor powers, those are mine alone. But with haki? With perfect taijutsu? With unbreakable will? Naruto grinned. Yeah, brother. You could become a monster in your own right. Want me to show you how? Lee's answer was to drop into a ready stance right there on the roof. Please, teach me! Gurarararara! That's what I like to hear. What followed was a training session that would have killed most genin. Naruto put Lee through exercises designed to push the body past normal limits, 1,000-rep sets, resistance training using Naruto's tremor pressure, meditation to develop observation haki. By dawn, Lee was barely conscious, but his eyes still burned with determination. Tomorrow, again, Lee gasped. Tomorrow again, Naruto agreed, carrying his exhausted teammate back inside. Rest now, brother. You've earned it. The next week passed in a strange routine. During the day, they protected Tazuna as he worked on the bridge, with Naruto's observation haki constantly scanning for threats. At night, Naruto trained Lee in the basics of haki, while Tenten practiced coding her weapons and armament. She was making slow but steady progress. Guy supervised, adding his own expertise to the training. Zabuza, kept under guard, watched these training sessions with growing disbelief. That blonde kid is a demon, he muttered to anyone who would listen. He's training his teammates to become demons too. On the 8th day, Naruto's observation haki detected a massive group approaching the bridge, at least 50 armed thugs with Gato himself at the center and another signature that made Naruto's eyes narrow. Company, he announced. Big group. Gato plus about 50 hired swords. Guy immediately went on alert. Students, protect Tazuna. I'll handle. No need, sensei. Naruto stepped forward, cracking his knuckles. This is my kind of fight. Lee, Tenten, you stay back with the client. I'll handle this. He walked to the edge of the unfinished bridge, and a minute later, Gato's group appeared. The crime lord himself was a short, bespectacled man hiding behind a wall of muscle. When he saw Naruto, he sneered. That's the demon everyone's so afraid of? He's just a kid! Kill him! The thugs charged forward, weapons raised. Naruto sighed. This is going to be quick. His body erupted with Conqueror's haki at full power. The pressure rolled across the bridge like a physical wave, and 45 of the 50 thugs immediately collapsed, unconscious before they hit the ground. The remaining 5 stumbled, but kept coming, their wills stronger than average. Naruto's respect for them increased marginally. Not bad. You 5 have got spirit, but it won't be enough. He moved, his speed making him blur. His fist, coated in armament, caught the first thug in the solar plexus with a tremor-enhanced punch that sent him flying off the bridge. The second thug swung a sword at Naruto's head. The blonde caught the blade with his bare hand, his haki-hardened skin treating steel like paper, and headbutted the man unconscious. The third and fourth thugs tried to attack together. Naruto spun, his legs sweeping in a perfect arc that caught both in the chest. The impact of his tremor-enhanced kick sent them crashing into the bridge railing. The fifth thug, seeing his companions fall, tried to run. Naruto let him go, turning his attention to Gato. Your turn. Gato's face went pale. Wait, I can pay you. Whatever they're paying, I'll triple it. You tried to kill my family. Naruto's voice was cold. You hired assassins to murder an old man who just wanted to help his country. You bled Wave Country dry with your greed. And now you're trying to buy your way out? He started walking forward. Not happening. Stay back. Gato pulled out a knife, his hands trembling. Naruto was on him in an instant. His hand, without any haki, without any tremor power, simply grabbed Gato's wrist and squeezed. Bones cracked. The knife fell. Gato screamed. You're lucky I don't kill civilians, Naruto said quietly. But you're going to prison. You're going to answer for what you've done to Wave Country. And if you ever come back... His eyes hardened. I'll make you regret being born. He tossed Gato toward Guy. Sensei, Can you handle the arrest paperwork? I'll round up the thugs. Over the next hour, they secured all of Gado's men and sent word to Wave Country's authorities. The local police, weak as they were, still managed to take Gado into custody. Tazuna watched with tears in his eyes as the man who terrorized his country was led away in chains. "Thank you," the bridge builder said. "Thank you so much. Don't thank me, just build your bridge." Naruto grinned. "Make it strong, make it last, and maybe name it something cool." "I know exactly what I'll call it," Tazuna said. "The Great Naruto Bridge, in honor of the demon who saved our country." "Tremor King," Naruto corrected, "not demon. Tremor King sounds way cooler." The team stayed another 3 days to ensure Wave Country's stability. In that time, Naruto continued training Lee and Tenten, helped repair damage from the fight, and even spent time with young Inari, teaching the boy that heroes were real and that strength existed to protect those who couldn't protect themselves. On their last day, Zabuza approached Naruto. The missing nin had been freed from his bonds. He'd proven he had no intention of fighting, and now stood with something approaching respect on his face. "Kid, you're a monster, but you're the good kind of monster." He held out a hand. "If you ever need help, if you ever end up in mist territory, mention my name. I owe you one." Naruto shook the offered hand, his grip firm. "Appreciated. Stay out of trouble, Zabuza. No promises." The journey back to Konoha was triumphant. Guy couldn't stop grinning. Lee kept asking Naruto questions about advanced haki techniques, and even Tenten seemed more comfortable around the blonde titan. When they arrived at the village gates, word had already spread. A Genin team had taken down an A-rank missing nin and liberated an entire country. The Hokage himself was waiting. "Team Guy," Hiruzen said formally, "report." Guy stepped forward and delivered a concise account of the mission, including Naruto's defeat of Zabuza and the liberation of Wave Country. When he finished, the Hokage's expression was unreadable. "Naruto Uzumaki," Hiruzen said finally, "you single-handedly defeated an A-rank missing nin, protected your team, and saved an entire country. By all rights, you should be promoted to Chunin immediately." "But," Naruto prompted, "but the Chunin exams are in 2 months. I want you to participate. Show the other villages what Konoha is capable of. Show them the Tremor King." Naruto's grin was feral. "You want me to make a statement? I want you to remind the world why Konoha is to be feared and respected." Hiruzen's eyes gleamed. "Can you do that?" "Grrrr, old man, when have I ever held back?" The next 2 months were intense. Naruto continued training Lee and Tenten, pushing them to their absolute limits. Lee made incredible progress with observation haki, developing the ability to predict attacks a full second before they landed. Tenten mastered basic armament coding for her weapons, making every kunai she threw exponentially more dangerous. But Naruto didn't neglect his own training. He developed new combinations of his tremor powers, practiced advanced applications of Conqueror's haki, and pushed his physical abilities even further. By the time the Chunin exams arrived, he'd grown another inch and packed on even more muscle. The day of the exams, Team Guy walked into the academy building to find it packed with genin from every major village. Sand, sound, rain, grass, they'd all sent teams. And when Naruto walked in, every eye turned to him. "Is that him?" Someone whispered, "The Tremor King? He's huge. I heard he destroyed a mountain during training. They say he can create earthquakes with his bare hands." Naruto ignored the whispers, his observation haki scanning the room for threats. He immediately identified several strong signatures: a red-haired kid from sand who practically reeked of bloodlust, a snake-like genin from grass whose chakra felt wrong, and a few others who clearly weren't ordinary genin. "Interesting competition this year," he muttered. A silver-haired genin with glasses approached. "You're Naruto Uzumaki? I'm Kabuto. I've heard quite a bit about you." Naruto's observation haki immediately pinged a warning. This Kabuto's emotional state was carefully controlled, his intent masked, his presence deceptive. "Dangerous. Yeah? What have you heard? That you're the strongest genin Konoha has produced in decades, that you single-handedly defeated Zabuza Momochi, that you possess mysterious powers unlike any Kekkei Genkai on record." Kabuto pushed his glasses up. "Quite the reputation." "All true." Naruto's eyes narrowed. "What about you? You feel different. Just a long-time genin trying to pass the exams." Kabuto smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Good luck, you'll need it." As Kabuto walked away, Lee leaned close to Naruto. I do not trust that one. Neither do I. Stay alert. Naruto's hand drifted to Muraka Mogiri. Something's off about these exams. The first test was written, an intelligence-gathering exercise disguised as an impossible exam. Naruto barely glanced at the questions before using his observation haki to sense which genin in the room actually knew the answers, then copied their emotional certainty. He finished in 10 minutes and spent the rest of the hour scanning for threats. The second test took place in the Forest of Death, a survival exercise where teams had to collect scrolls while avoiding death traps and enemy teams. The proctor, Anko Mitarashi, seemed way too excited about the mortality rate. All right, brats, you've got 5 days to collect both scrolls and reach the tower in the center. Oh, and try not to die. We lose a few genin every year. Naruto raised his hand. Quick question. Are there any rules about how we collect the scrolls? Nope. Steal them, fight for them, whatever works. Perfect. Naruto's grin was predatory. This'll be fun. Team Guy's scroll hunt lasted approximately 4 hours. Naruto's observation haki made finding other teams trivial, and his overwhelming power made taking their scrolls even easier. The first team they encountered, some sound genin, tried to fight. Naruto ended it with a single conqueror's haki pulse that knocked all 3 unconscious. Too easy, he muttered, taking their scroll. By the end of the first day, Team Guy had collected 6 scroll sets, 3 times what they needed. They reached the tower and settled in to wait for the other teams. Should we not have taken only what we required? Lee asked. Taking extra scrolls prevents other teams from advancing. That's the point, Naruto said. This is competition. We're not here to make friends. We're here to show everyone that Konoha, that Team Guy specifically, is the strongest. He grinned. Besides, if they couldn't protect their scrolls from us, they didn't deserve to advance anyway. Over the next 4 days, various teams trickled into the tower. Some looked exhausted. Others looked traumatized. All of them gave Team Guy a wide berth after seeing Naruto. The preliminaries began on the 5th day. The Hokage explained that too many teams had passed, so one-on-one fights would determine who advanced to the finals. Naruto could barely contain his excitement. The electronic board randomized the first match, Rock Lee versus Gaara of the Sand. Naruto's hand shot out, gripping Lee's shoulder. Brother, listen carefully. That red-haired kid? He's dangerous. I can feel something wrong inside him. Massive chakra, malevolent intent. Don't hold back. Lee nodded seriously. I understand. I will give my all. Use your observation haki, predict his attacks. And remember, you're my brother. You've trained with the Tremor King himself. Show them what that means. The fight began, and immediately, Gaara's Sand moved to defend him autonomously. Lee's taijutsu was incredible. His speed, his technique, his determination. But the Sand defended against everything. Lee, Naruto called from the sidelines. The Sand has to move to defend. It's fast, but not instantaneous. Use your haki. Lee's eyes sharpened with focus. His observation haki activated, and suddenly he could predict not just Gaara's attacks, but the Sand's defensive movements. He began landing hits, not many, but enough to prove defense wasn't impenetrable. Gaara's face twisted with rage. You dare hurt me, I'll crush you! Sand coffin! Sand erupted from the ground, trying to engulf Lee. But Lee's observation haki predicted it, and he dodged at the last possible second. Lee! Guy shouted. Use that technique! Lee nodded, his face set with determination. He began removing weighted training bands from his legs, bands that hit the ground with crashes that cracked the floor. His speed immediately tripled. The audience gasped as Lee became a green blur, striking Gaara from every angle. The Sand couldn't keep up. Hits connected, 1, 2, 5, 10. Gaara actually took damage, but then the Sand armor cracked, revealing something underneath. Sand infused with some kind of chakra that was far more durable. And from Gaara's gourd, more sand poured out, moving faster, more aggressively. You made me bleed, Gaara said, his voice hollow. Now you die. Naruto's observation haki suddenly screamed a warning. The malevolent chakra inside Gaara was building, threatening to explode outward. Whatever was sealed in that kid, it was about to come out. Lee, finish it now, Naruto commanded. Lee nodded, gathering his chakra. Front Lotus. He moved with incredible speed, wrapping Gaara in bandages and spinning them both into a devastating piledriver toward the ground. The impact created a massive crater. But when the dust cleared, Gaara stood unharmed, a shell of sand having protected him at the last second. And now, his sand was moving with deadly intent. Sand burial. The sand reached for Lee, who was exhausted from the front lotus. It would have crushed him, would have killed him, if Naruto hadn't moved. The blonde titan crossed the arena floor in a single step, his body erupting with Conqueror's haki. The pressure slammed into Gaara's sand like a physical wall, actually stopping the technique mid-execution. "Match is over," Naruto said coldly, standing between Gaara and Lee. "My brother did his best. He lost, but you don't get to kill him." Gaara's eyes, wide and manic, focused on Naruto. "You dare stand against me? I'll crush you. I'll prove my existence by—" "Sit down, kid." Naruto's Conqueror's haki intensified, and Gaara actually stumbled, his sand faltering. "You've got something nasty sealed inside you. I can feel it, but I don't care how strong your inner demon is. You threaten my family and I'll put you in the ground. Understand?" For a long moment, the arena was silent. Then Gaara's sand retreated, and the red-haired genin stepped back. "You're strong," Gaara said slowly. "Interesting. I want to fight you. You'll get your chance in the finals if you make it that far." Naruto turned and carefully picked up Lee, whose body was trembling from exhaustion. "Good fight, brother. You did great." "I lost," Lee whispered. "You pushed a demon carrier to his limits. That's a win in my book." Naruto carried him to the medical area, leaving the arena in stunned silence. The remaining preliminary matches were interesting, but ultimately irrelevant to Naruto. He watched with half attention as various genin fought, his observation haki monitoring Lee's recovery instead. When his own match finally came up, Naruto Uzumaki versus some grass genin named Dosu, the crowd actually leaned forward in anticipation. Everyone wanted to see the Tremor King fight. Naruto walked onto the arena floor without his Baisento, his hands empty. Dosu sneered. "You're not even bringing a weapon? That's insulting." "Weapons are for opponents worth the effort," Naruto said casually. I'll use my hands." Dosu's face twisted with rage. He attacked, his sound-amplifying gauntlet creating sonic waves designed to disrupt inner ear balance and cause disorientation. It was a clever technique that had defeated several opponents already. Naruto just stood there, letting the sound waves wash over him. They hit his armament-hardened body and dissipated harmlessly. "That it?" Naruto asked. "Sound-based attack? Cute. But armament haki hardens my entire body, including my inner ear. Your technique is useless." He moved, and Dosu barely had time to register the blonde's speed before a tremor-enhanced punch caught him in the stomach. The impact sent shockwaves through Dosu's entire body, and he collapsed, unconscious, before he hit the ground. The match had lasted 7 seconds. Naruto looked up the Hokage's box and grinned. "Got anyone stronger? This is getting boring." Hiruzen actually chuckled. "Patience, Naruto. The finals will provide more challenge." The preliminary matches concluded, and the finalists were announced. Naruto, unsurprisingly, was among them. So was Gaara. Along with several other genin who'd shown exceptional skill, the finals would take place in 1 month, giving everyone time to train and prepare. Naruto had different plans. "Sensei," he said to Guy, "I want to take Lee and Tenten on a training trip, somewhere remote where we won't accidentally destroy village property." Guy considered this. "Where would you go?" "Wave Country. The bridge is finished now, and Tazuna offered us a place to stay anytime. Plus, it's isolated enough that I can really push their training without worrying about collateral damage." "And your own training?" "I'll develop some new techniques. Maybe work on combining my tremor powers with advanced haki applications." Naruto's grin was feral. "I want to show the finals audience something they've never seen before." Guy's approval came with an enthusiastic thumbs up. "The springtime of youth demands constant growth. Go, my students. Train until you surpass your limits." The month in Wave Country was transformative. Naruto pushed Lee and Tenten harder than ever. But he also developed techniques that would make him even more terrifying. He learned to coat his Basento in advanced Conqueror's haki, creating black lightning that crackled along the blade. He developed a new tremor technique called Kaishin, ocean earthquakes that could create tsunamis. He practiced combining all 3 types of haki simultaneously, creating a combat state he called Perfect Tremor Mode. Lee, under Naruto's brutal training regimen, developed his observation haki to the point where he could fight blindfolded. His speed increased to levels that rivaled Jonin. His taijutsu, already impressive, became devastating. Tenten mastered advanced armament coding, learning to imbue her weapons with haki before throwing them. Her accuracy improved to impossible levels, guided by basic observation haki that Naruto helped her awaken. By the time they returned to Konoha for the finals, Team Guy had transformed from a Genin team into something approaching a special Jonin squad in terms of combat capability. The day of the finals arrived with fanfare. The arena was packed. Nobles from Fire Country, dignitaries from other nations, civilians from Konoha and beyond. Everyone wanted to see the Chunin exam finals, and everyone wanted to see Naruto fight. His first match was against a rain genin who specialized in water techniques. The fight lasted 12 seconds. Naruto used Shinkuha, a tremor sphere around his fist, to create a shockwave that evaporated the water techniques and knocked his opponent unconscious. His second match was against Tenten. She'd requested it specifically, wanting to test herself against the person who trained her. "Don't hold back," she said as they faced each other in the arena. "Wouldn't dream of it," Naruto replied. "Show me what you've learned, sister." Tenten unsealed a barrage of weapons, kunai, shuriken, swords, spears, all coated in armament haki. They rained down on Naruto from every angle, each one capable of piercing steel. Naruto's observation haki predicted every trajectory. He dodged, weaved, and caught weapons with his armament-hardened hands. When he finally went on offense, he moved with speed that made Tenten's eyes widen. But she trained for this. Her own observation haki activated, and she predicted his punch, dodging at the last second. The arena floor where she'd been standing cracked from the force of his missed attack. They exchanged blows, Tenten using her weapon's mastery and enhanced haki against Naruto's overwhelming physical power and tremor abilities. It was closer than anyone expected. Tenten had improved dramatically, but Naruto was still Naruto. When he finally decided to end it, he used Gekishin, a severe earthquake punch that created shockwaves across the entire arena. Tenten, caught in the tremor, lost her balance and was hit by a follow-up strike that sent her out of bounds. Winner, Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto helped Tenten to her feet, grinning. "You did great, sister. Made me actually try." "I lost," she said, but she was smiling. "But I lasted longer than anyone else has against you. I'll take that as a win." The finals continued. Lee fought brilliantly, using his enhanced speed and observation haki to defeat a sound genin. Other matches showcased impressive skills from various villages, and then came the match everyone was waiting for. Naruto Uzumaki versus Gaara of the Sand. The arena fell silent as the two titans faced each other. Gaara's sand swirled around him protectively, his eyes fixed on Naruto with manic intensity. Naruto stood relaxed, Murakumogiri resting on his shoulder, his expression calm. "Finally," Gaara said, "I can prove my existence by crushing the strongest." "You can try," Naruto replied. "But kid, you're about to learn the difference between strength and power." "Begin!" the proctor shouted, immediately jumping clear. Gaara attacked first, his sand shooting toward Naruto in spears designed to impale. Naruto's observation haki predicted the trajectories, and he dodged with minimal movement, each spear missing by inches. "Too slow," Naruto said. He closed the distance in a blur, Murakumogiri swinging in a devastating arc. Gaara's sand shield formed, but Naruto's Basento was coated in advanced armament haki, the black coating with red electrical discharge that signified Conqueror's infusion. The blade cut through Gaara's sand like it wasn't there. Gaara's eyes widened in shock as he barely dodged, the Basento missing his head by a hair's breadth. "Impossible! My absolute defense is useless against advanced haki," Naruto interrupted. "Your sand is tough, kid, but my Conqueror's coating bypasses conventional defenses." Gaara snarled and more sand poured from his gourd. It formed into a massive wave that crashed toward Naruto from all sides. The blonde grinned. "Shima Urashi!" He stomped his foot and the ground itself tilted. The tremor was so powerful that the entire arena shook and Gaara's sand wave lost cohesion, collapsing back to the ground. The audience screamed as the stadium itself cracked. "That's area tilting," Naruto explained casually. "One of my larger scale techniques, but I've got bigger. Wanna see?" He didn't wait for an answer. His fist erupted with black armament and Conqueror's haki, surrounded by a Shinkuha tremor sphere. The air around his knuckles cracked like shattering glass. "Gekishin!" He punched the air itself, and the resulting shockwave ripped across the arena like a physical force. Gaara's sand tried to defend, but the tremor bypassed the physical barrier and slammed into Gaara himself. The red-haired genin was sent flying, crashing into the arena wall hard enough to crack stone. But he stood up, and now his sand armor was cracking. Something else was emerging, a monstrous chakra that felt ancient and malevolent. "Mother wants your blood!" Gaara screamed, his voice distorting. "She demands it!" A sand construct began forming, a massive arm with claw-like fingers far larger than should be possible. Naruto's observation haki identified it immediately, a partial-tailed beast transformation. "So you've got a Biju," Naruto said, his voice calm. "One tail if I'm sensing right, powerful, dangerous." His grin widened. "But I'm stronger." The sand claw swiped at him with enough force to demolish a building. Naruto didn't dodge. Instead, he caught the claw with both hands, his armament haki hardening his grip, and his tremor power activated. The sand claw shattered. "Listen up, kid," Naruto said, his voice cutting through Gaara's madness. "You've been alone, I get it. People feared you, hated you because of what's inside you. But you know what? I've been there. This whole village treated me like a monster for years. But I didn't let that define me. I found my family, people who accept me, who I died to protect, and you can have that too." Gaara paused, the sand retreat slightly. "Family? Yeah, people who matter, people worth fighting for." Naruto's expression softened. "But first, you gotta stop this. Control your power. Don't let the One Tail control you." For a moment, it seemed like Naruto's words might reach Gaara. Then the sand exploded outward in a massive wave, and Gaara's voice, mixed with something inhuman, screamed, "I don't need anyone. I only need to prove I exist by killing." Wrong answer. Naruto's entire body erupted with power, full body armament, Conqueror's haki radiating outward, tremor energy crackling around him. "Then I'll beat some sense into you," he charged, and what followed was devastation. Every punch shattered sand constructs. Every swing of Murakumogiri carved through defenses. His observation haki predicted every attack. His armament blocked what he couldn't dodge, and his tremor power made each strike exponentially more devastating. The arena itself began to crack and crumble under the force of their battle. The proctor tried to call the match, but Naruto's Conqueror's haki was so intense that the man couldn't approach. Finally, Naruto decided to end it. He drove Murakumogiri into the ground and made a hand seal. Secret technique, Tremor King's Dominion. His tremor power exploded outward in a controlled sphere that encompassed the entire arena. The ground shook with such intensity that everyone, including Gaara's sand, was forced still. In that moment of absolute control, Naruto appeared in front of Gaara and placed a hand on the boy's head. Sleep. A precise tremor pulse aimed directly at Gaara's consciousness knocked him out instantly. The sand fell lifeless. The transformation receded. The match was over. Naruto stood in the center of the cracked, ruined arena, breathing slightly heavier than normal, the first time anyone had seen him even slightly winded. Winner, Naruto Uzumaki. The audience erupted in cheers and screams. Naruto looked up at the Hokage's box and grinned. "Still bored, old man? Got anyone stronger?" But before Hiruzen could respond, Naruto's observation haki screamed a warning. Hostile intent, massive amounts of it, from multiple directions. His head snapped toward the Hokage's box where several Anbu had suddenly moved with killing intent toward Hiruzen. "Sensei, the Hokage!" Naruto shouted to Guy. He moved, his speed allowing him to cross the arena and leap to the Hokage's box in seconds. But he wasn't fast enough. A barrier had formed around Hiruzen, trapping him with 4 ninja whose chakra felt wrong. "Orochimaru," Hiruzen said grimly, facing a pale man with snake-like eyes. "So you finally make your move." "Indeed, Sensei." Orochimaru's voice was filled with sick amusement. "And what perfect timing. I get to kill you while your prize genin watches helplessly." Naruto's fist slammed into the barrier, his armament-coated punch creating spiderweb cracks. "Old man, get clear." "The barrier is designed to keep people out, Naruto. Focus on protecting the village. This is my fight!" Outside the barrier, chaos erupted. Sound and Sand Ninja revealed themselves, attacking Konoha forces. Civilians screamed and fled. Jonin mobilized to defend them, and above it all, a massive summon appeared, a giant snake that made buildings look small. Naruto's decision took a split second. His family, Lee, Tenten, Guy, the people of Konoha he'd come to care about, They needed protection, but the Hokage needed help too. Lee, Tenten, Naruto's voice boomed across the chaos. Protect civilians. Get them to shelters. Guy Sensei, coordinate the defense. What about you? Guy shouted back. I'm gonna kill a snake. Naruto turned and ran toward the massive summon, his observation haki guiding him through the chaos. Ninja from both sides tried to stop him. He swatted them aside like insects, his conqueror's haki knocking out the weak-willed, his tremor-enhanced strikes eliminating the persistent. He reached the giant snake summon and looked up at it. The creature was easily 200 feet long, its fangs dripping with venom, its eyes filled with malevolent hunger. Gurararara! Naruto's laugh echoed across the battlefield. A big snake! Perfect! Let's see how you handle this! Kaishin! He punched the ground with his full power, his tremor ability activating at maximum output. The ground didn't just shake, it rippled like water. Buildings swayed. The snake summon lost its balance, its massive body unable to compensate for the ground itself becoming unstable. Not done yet? Gekishin! Naruto launched himself at the snake's head, his fist coated in black armament and conqueror's haki, surrounded by the largest Shinkuha tremor sphere he'd ever created. The air itself cracked in a sphere 10 feet in diameter. The punch connected with the snake's head, and the resulting shockwave was visible. A ripple in reality itself that expanded outward. The snake's head exploded. Not metaphorically. The tremor literally caused the summon's head to burst apart. The massive body dissolved into smoke, banished back to wherever summons went when destroyed. Naruto landed in a crouch, the ground cratering beneath him. Around him, friend and foe alike stared in shock. Who else wants some? Naruto challenged, his voice carrying across the battlefield. I'm the Tremor King. Anyone threatens my family, my village, my people, they answer to me. The sound and sand forces, already demoralized by the loss of their massive summon, began to falter. Konoha's forces rallied, pushing back with renewed vigor, but Naruto's attention turned back to the Hokage's box. The barrier was still up, and inside, he could see Hiruzen fighting Orochimaru and what looked like reanimated corpses of the first and second Hokage. That's some sick shit, Naruto muttered. He slammed his fist into the barrier again, this time coating it with advanced Conqueror's haki. The black lightning crackled and the barrier actually began to crack. Old man, hang on, I'm breaking through. Naruto, no! Hiruzen shouted. The barrier will, too late. Naruto's punch, empowered by his full might, shattered the barrier like glass. The four-sound ninja maintaining it screamed as the backlash hit them, and Naruto was through. He appeared between Orochimaru and Hiruzen, Murakumogiri in hand, his presence radiating such intense Conqueror's haki that the reanimated Hokages actually paused. You must be Orochimaru, Naruto said coldly. The old man's mentioned you. Traitor, experimenter, general piece of shit. You picked a really bad day to attack my village. Orochimaru's snake-like eyes widened slightly. The Tremor King. How fascinating. I'd heard reports, but seeing you in person, you're even more interesting than I imagined. Save it. You tried to kill my family. You attacked my village. You made this personal. Naruto took a combat stance. Old man, you good to keep fighting? Hiruzen, bleeding from several wounds but still standing, nodded. Together then. What followed was a battle that would be recorded in history books. Naruto and Hiruzen versus Orochimaru and the reanimated first and second Hokage. The roof of the Hokage's box was destroyed within the first minute. The surrounding buildings suffered collateral damage from tremor-enhanced strikes and powerful ninjutsu. Naruto fought with absolute precision, his observation haki predicting attacks from multiple opponents, his armament defending against the reanimated Hokage's legendary techniques, his tremor power making every strike devastating. When the first Hokage's wood techniques tried to bind him, Naruto shattered them with Gekishin punches. When the second Hokage's water techniques flooded the area, Naruto used Kaishin to turn the water itself into a weapon, creating whirlpools that disrupted the attack. And when Orochimaru tried to summon another snake, Naruto was on him in an instant, Murakumogiri's blade coated in Conqueror's haki, the Bisento carving through the summon before it could fully manifest. You're strong, Orochimaru admitted, his voice still carrying that sick amusement. But you're just a child. You lack experience, subtlety, the willingness to do what's necessary. I don't need subtlety, Naruto growled. I just need to be stronger than you, and I am. He proved it by catching Orochimaru's legendary Kusanagi blade with his bare hand, armament-hardened skin treating the legendary sword like a common weapon, and delivering a tremor-enhanced headbutt that sent the Sannin flying backward. Hiruzen, recognizing the opening, made hand seals. Reaper Death Seal. Old man, no. Naruto recognized the technique. Forbidden. Life-costing. Don't you dare. It's the only way to stop the Edo Tensei. Hiruzen's hands moved through the final seals. Naruto, protect the village. This is my final command as Hokage. The spectral Reaper appeared behind Hiruzen, its arms extending toward the reanimated Hokages. Orochimaru, seeing what was happening, tried to flee, but Naruto was faster. You're not going anywhere! Naruto's conqueror's haki exploded outward with such force that Orochimaru actually staggered. In that moment, Hiruzen's technique completed, pulling the souls of the first and second Hokage from their reanimated bodies. But the technique required a soul trade. Hiruzen's life for the souls he sealed. Old man! Naruto caught Hiruzen as the elderly Hokage collapsed, his body growing cold. Don't you die on me! You hear me? You're family! Hiruzen smiled weakly. Good, you understand what's truly important. Naruto, protect them. Protect your precious people. I will, but you're one of those people. Stay awake. The village is yours now. Tremor King. Hiruzen's eyes closed. Thank you for everything. Naruto felt the life leave the old man's body, and something inside him snapped. The grief, the rage, the absolute fury at watching another precious person die, it all exploded outward. His conqueror's haki went berserk. The pressure was so intense that windows shattered across the entire village. Weak-willed people for a mile in every direction collapsed unconscious. The very air crackled with black lightning. Orochimaru! Naruto's roar shook the village. You killed him! You killed my family! Orochimaru, despite his power, felt something he hadn't experienced in years. Genuine fear. The blonde demon advancing on him radiated such overwhelming killing intent that even the Sannin's legendary composure cracked. I'll kill you, Naruto said, his voice deadly calm despite the raging haki. I'll hunt you to the ends of the earth. I'll destroy everything you've built. I'll make you regret ever being born. He moved, and Orochimaru barely managed to substitute away. The punch that missed the Sannin hit the building behind him, and the entire structure exploded from the tremor force. Orochimaru used the chaos to flee, his body dissolving into snakes that scattered in every direction. Naruto tried to pursue, but Guy appeared, gripping his shoulder. Naruto, stop! The village needs you here. He killed the old man. I know, Guy's voice was firm, but Hiruzen's last words were to protect the village, honor his memory by doing that. The words cut through Naruto's rage. He looked around at the chaos, civilians still fleeing, buildings damaged, injured ninja everywhere. His family needed him. His conqueror's haki retracted, and he nodded slowly. You're right, Orochimaru can wait. Family comes first. What followed was hours of cleanup. Naruto used his tremor powers to stabilize damaged buildings, preventing them from collapsing on trapped civilians. His observation, haki helped locate people buried in rubble. His sheer strength allowed him to move debris that would have required entire teams to shift. Lee and Tenten worked alongside him, their enhanced abilities thanks to Naruto's training making them invaluable in the rescue efforts. Guy coordinated with other jonin to organize the defense and evacuation. By the time the sun set, Konoha was battered but standing. The sound and sand forces had retreated. Casualties were being counted. And Naruto stood in front of the Hokage Tower, looking up at where Hiruzen's body had been taken. He was a good man, a voice said behind him. Naruto turned to find Tsunade, the legendary Sannin and granddaughter of the first Hokage, approaching. She looked older than her reputation suggested, the years weighing heavily on her. You knew him well? Naruto asked. He was my teacher, my leader, my friend. Tsunade's voice was heavy with grief. And now he's gone because of that snake bastard. I'm gonna kill Orochimaru, Naruto said simply. Not now, not tomorrow, but eventually. That's a promise. Tsunade studied him. You're the Tremor King, I've heard the stories. You fought alongside Hiruzen in his final battle? Tried to save him, failed. The admission hurt. He used a forbidden technique, sacrificed himself to stop the Edo Tensei. That sounds like him, always putting the village first. Tsunade was quiet for a moment. The village needs a new Hokage. The council will want to choose quickly to maintain stability. Good for them. I don't want the job. I wasn't offering it to you. You're 12. Tsunade almost smiled. But Hiruzen mentioned you in his reports. Said you were the strongest genin he'd ever seen. Said you could be Hokage material if you wanted. I don't want it, Naruto repeated firmly. Being Hokage means protecting everyone equally, playing politics, following rules. That's not me. I protect my family. Everyone else is secondary. Honest, at least. Tsunade turned to look at the village. What if I told you the council wants me to become the 5th Hokage? Then I'd say congratulations. You'd probably do a good job. And if I asked for your support, your strength in defending the village. Naruto considered this. As long as the village protects my family, I'll protect the village. That's the deal. You become Hokage, you make sure my people are safe, and I'll be your strongest defender. Sound fair? More than fair. Tsunade extended a hand. Deal, Tremor King. Naruto shook it, his grip firm. Just Naruto. I'm only the Tremor King to people who don't know me. Over the next week, things gradually returned to normal. Tsunade was formally appointed 5th Hokage. The Chunin exam results were announced. Naruto, unsurprisingly, was promoted to Chunin despite never finishing the tournament. Lee and Tenten were also promoted based on their performance and their critical role in defending the village, but Naruto's promotion came with an unusual clause. He was given a special designation as a strategic asset of Konoha, meaning he could refuse missions that didn't interest him, could act independently when he felt it necessary, and report it directly to the Hokage. Basically, I'm too strong to force into the normal system, Naruto summarized when Tsunade explained it. Basically, she agreed. You're an army unto yourself, Naruto. Trying to fit you into the standard mission structure would be like trying to use a biju for mail delivery. You'll get special assignments, high risk, high reward missions that require your unique abilities. Works for me, as long as I can still train Lee and Tenten. About that. Tsunade leaned back in the Hokage chair. I'm officially designating you as a special Jonin instructor. Your primary mission is training your team to their maximum potential. Secondary missions will be assigned as needed. Naruto grinned. You're giving me official permission to make my family stronger. I like you already, old lady. Call me that again, and I'll demonstrate why I'm legendary for my strength, Tsunade warned, but she was smiling. That night, Naruto gathered Team Guy at his apartment. Lee and Tenten arrived to find him standing on his roof, looking out over Konoha. You called us here? Tenten asked, joining him on the roof. Yeah. Naruto turned to face them, his expression serious. The old man's last words were about protecting precious people, about family. And you two, you're my family, my crew, my brothers and sister. So I wanted to make something clear. He placed a hand on Lee's shoulder, then on Tenten's. I'm the strongest, that's a fact. But strength without people to protect is just violence. You two make me more than just a weapon. You make me human. And I'm going to make sure you're strong enough that you never have to rely on me. That you can protect yourselves, protect each other, protect everyone you care about. Lee's eyes shimmered with tears. Naruto, starting tomorrow, your real training begins. No more holding back. No more gentle progression. I'm going to push you until you break, then help you rebuild stronger, because you're my family, and my family deserves to be as strong as I can make them. Tenten nodded slowly. We're ready. Good. Naruto's grin returned. Because in 1 year, I want you two ready to take on Jonin-level opponents. In 2 years, I want you capable of fighting A-rank missing nin. And in 3 years, his eyes blazed with determination. Like, I want you both ready to stand beside me when I go after Orochimaru. We will not let you down, Lee declared. I know you won't. You're my family. Naruto looked back out over the village, his observation haki sensing the thousands of people going about their lives. The old man protected this village for decades. Now it's our turn. Team Guy is going to become a legend, the strongest team Konoha has ever produced. Guy, who'd been listening from the apartment doorway, stepped onto the roof. Well said, Naruto. Hiruzen would be proud. Hope so. Naruto's voice was soft. I'm gonna make sure his sacrifice meant something. Gonna protect this village, my family, everyone who matters, and anyone who threatens them. His fist clenched, black armament coating his knuckles. They'll learn why they call me the Tremor King. The four of them stood on that roof as the sun fully set, the lights of Konoha spreading out below them. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new training, new missions. But tonight, they were just a team, a family, standing together. And in the shadows of Konoha, in the places where darkness gathered, a new legend was being whispered. The legend of the Tremor King, Naruto Uzumaki, the blonde demon who could shatter mountains with his fists, who commanded power that defied understanding, who'd sworn to protect his precious people no matter the cost. Some legends were born. Others were forged in fire and blood. But Naruto's legend? His was built on the unshakable foundation of family, the overwhelming force of his power, and the absolute certainty that he was, and always would be, the strongest. The future would bring greater challenges, organizations like Akatsuki, enemies more dangerous than Orochimaru, threats that would test even Naruto's incredible abilities. But for now, in this moment, standing with his family as the Tremor King of Konoha, Naruto was content. Gurarara! His laugh echoed across the village. Tomorrow, we start again. But tonight we celebrate. Lee, Tenten, Guy Sensei, let's get some ramen, my treat. As Team Guy descended from the roof, heading toward Ichiraku Ramen, where Old Man Tochi would greet them with warm smiles and steaming bowls, Naruto felt something he hadn't felt in a long time. Peace. 3 years had changed nothing about Naruto Uzumaki's presence. If anything, the tremors he commanded had grown even more terrifying. The peaceful moment at Ichiraku lasted exactly 12 minutes before Naruto's observation haki screamed a warning. His chopsticks stopped halfway to his mouth, and the smile vanished from his face. Everyone down. Now. Team Guy reacted instantly. Lee and Tenten dropped below the counter while Guy's body tensed for combat. Old Man Tochi, who'd learned to trust Naruto's instincts over the years, ducked behind his cooking station. The explosion came 3 seconds later. A massive fireball erupted in the center of Konoha, followed by the unmistakable sound of battle. Naruto's observation haki painted a clear picture, multiple hostile signatures, each radiating killing intent and chakra signatures that felt wrong, artificial, enhanced beyond natural limits. Sound ninja, Naruto growled, already moving. Lots of them. And they're not here for a friendly visit. His eyes narrowed as his haki detected something else, a familiar, snake-like presence lurking at the edge of his awareness. Orochimaru's made his move. He burst through Ichiraku's entrance, his massive frame moving with impossible speed. The street outside was chaos, civilians fleeing, buildings burning, and Sound Ninja engaged in combat with Konoha's defenders. But what caught Naruto's attention was the group of black-clad figures systematically moving through the village, not toward the Hokage Tower, toward the residential district where his family lived. Naruto's conqueror's haki exploded outward before he consciously decided to release it. The pressure wave was so intense that windows shattered for 3 blocks. Weaker Sound Ninja collapsed immediately, blood trickling from their noses and ears. Even the stronger ones stumbled, their attacks faltering. Orochimaru! Naruto's roar shook the village. You made a mistake coming back. He didn't wait for a response. His body blurred as he used Soru, a technique he developed by combining his natural speed with precise chakra control, and appeared in the middle of the Sound Ninja formation, heading toward the residential district. Going somewhere? Naruto asked casually. The lead Sound Ninja, a tall man with silver hair and 6 arms, sneered. The Tremor King. Orochimaru-sama said you'd interfere. That's why he sent us, the Sound Six, his most powerful creations. 6? Naruto's observation haki counted the signatures. I'm only sensing 5 of you. Math isn't your strong suit, huh? The 6th is already completing his mission, Silverhair replied. By now, your precious teammates are. Naruto moved his fist, coated in black armament haki and surrounded by a Shinkuha tremor sphere, drove into Silverhair's chest before the man could finish his sentence. The impact created a visible shockwave that rippled outward, and Silverhair's body literally exploded from the force, his 6 arms and torso separating in different directions. The other 4 Sound Ninjas stared in horror. You were saying? Naruto asked, his voice cold. Something about my family? One of them, a woman with blade-like fingers, attacked from behind, her speed impressive for a Jonin-level opponent. Naruto's observation haki predicted the strike 3 seconds before it came. He didn't even turn around. He just raised his hand and caught her wrist mid-attack. Too slow. He squeezed, and bones shattered. Then his other hand shot out, gripping her throat, and he lifted her off the ground one-handed. Where's the sixth member? Where's the one targeting my family? I'll never. Naruto's grip erupted with tremor energy, a precise, controlled pulse that rattled her brain without killing her. Her eyes rolled back, and she went limp. Fine, I'll find them myself. He tossed her unconscious body aside and turned to the remaining three. His observation haki was already spreading across the village, searching for that sixth signature, for any threat to his people. And there, he found it. A powerful chakra signature near Lee's apartment, already engaged in combat. Lee, Naruto muttered. Then his voice rose to a command. Guy-sensei, handle these three. I've got family to protect. He vanished in a blur of speed, leaving Guy to face the remaining Sound Six members. The green-clad Jonin grinned, his fist already moving to intercept one attacker. Gate of Pain open! But Naruto was already gone, his body moving at speeds that made sound itself seem slow. Buildings blurred past. Civilians diving for cover became smears in his peripheral vision. And his observation haki guided him with perfect precision toward the battle. He arrived to find Lee surrounded by three massive earth constructs, golems made of stone and reinforced with some kind of chakra enhancement. The sixth sound ninja, a hulking brute with arms like tree trunks, stood nearby controlling them with hand seals. Lee was holding his own, his speed and observation haki allowing him to dodge the golem's strikes, but he couldn't damage them. His punches, even enhanced with the basic armament haki Naruto had taught him, only cracked the stone surface. Lee! Naruto called. Duck! His brother reacted instantly, dropping low. Naruto's fist shot forward and he punched the air itself. Gekishin! The air cracked like shattering glass. The shockwave that erupted from his fist was visible, a sphere of compressed force that expanded outward and slammed into all three golems simultaneously. They didn't just break. They disintegrated, reduced to pebbles and dust by the tremor force. The sound ninja controlling them stared in disbelief. Impossible! Those constructs were reinforced with chakra specifically designed to withstand. I don't care. Naruto walked forward, each step deliberate. You came to my village. You targeted my brother. You threatened my family. Black armament haki coated his entire body, making him look like a demon carved from shadow. That means you die. The brute tried to flee. Naruto's hand shot out, and even though the man was 20 feet away, the blonde's tremor-enhanced reach grabbed him by the throat through sheer vibration manipulation, the air itself becoming solid enough to grip. Kabutowari. Naruto's other hand gripped Murakumogiri, which he'd somehow retrieved during his sprint across the village. The Bisento swung in a devastating arc, and the blade, coated in Conqueror's haki that crackled with black lightning, cleaved through the brute's defenses, his reinforced body, and the building behind him. The sound ninja fell in two pieces. You okay? Naruto asked Lee, his voice softening as he turned to his brother. I'm fine, Lee said, though his hands were trembling slightly. Thank you, brother. I could not damage those constructs. You were handling it, I just sped things up. Naruto's observation haki swept the area. Tenten? Safe. She's with civilians in the shelters. Lee's expression grew serious. Naruto, this attack, it feels coordinated. Orochimaru is making a serious move. Yeah. Naruto's jaw clenched. He waited 3 years, built his strength, created these enhanced soldiers, and now he's hitting us hard. His fist tightened around Murakumogiri, but he made one critical mistake. What mistake? He came back while I'm still here. Naruto's observation haki suddenly detected a massive spike in hostile intent from the direction of the Hokage Tower. Multiple signatures, powerful ones, converging on Tsunade's location. Lee, get to the shelters. Make sure everyone's safe. I've got a snake to crush. He vanished before Lee could respond, his body moving at speeds that cracked the ground beneath each step. The village blurred around him as he activated Soru repeatedly, each burst of speed carrying him closer to the tower. He arrived to find Tsunade surrounded by sound elite ninja, 6 of them, each radiating chakra comparable to Jonin or low-level Kage. They'd backed her against the tower wall, their combined attacks forcing even the legendary Sannin onto the defensive. Oi! Naruto's voice boomed across the battlefield. 6 on 1? That's pretty pathetic. All 7 combatants turned toward him. Tsunade's face showed relief. The sound ninja showed fear. "The Tremor King," one of them whispered. "In the flesh." Naruto's Conqueror's haki began building, the pressure making the air itself feel heavy. You picked the wrong village to invade, and you definitely picked the wrong woman to surround. His eyes hardened. "That's the 5th Hokage. That's family. And you just signed your death warrants." The haki released. The pressure was so overwhelming that 3 of the 6 sound ninja collapsed immediately, their minds unable to withstand the sheer force of Naruto's willpower made manifest. The remaining 3 tried to maintain their stance, but their bodies trembled, their techniques faltering. "Impressive," one of the survivors gasped. "But we were specifically enhanced to resist psychological attacks. Your haki won't." Naruto was already moving, his fist, coated in advanced armament haki, the kind that allowed internal destruction, drove into the speaker's guard. The man blocked, but the haki bypassed his external defenses and ruptured his internal organs. He collapsed, coughing blood. "Internal destruction haki," Naruto explained casually to the remaining 2. "Your enhancements are external. My attack works from the inside. See the problem? They attack together. Their coordination perfect. Their techniques clearly designed to work as a team." One created a water technique that surrounded Naruto, attempting to drown him. The other followed with lightning, electrifying the water prison. Naruto just stood there, letting the technique hit him. The lightning crackled across his armament-hardened body and dispersed harmlessly. The water pressure, which should have been crushing, felt like a gentle stream against his durability. "That it?" He punched the water itself, and the tremor force dispersed the entire technique instantly. "My turn. Shinkuha." He thrust both fists forward, and twin spheres of tremor energy erupted from his knuckles. The spheres expanded as they traveled, growing from basketball size to car size in seconds. The 2 sound ninja tried to dodge, but Naruto's observation haki had predicted their movements. The tremor spheres adjusted mid-flight, tracking their targets like guided missiles. Impact was simultaneous. The resulting shockwaves created craters where the sound ninja had been standing. When the dust cleared, both bodies lay unconscious, alive, but with every bone in their torsos fractured from the vibration. Naruto turned to Tsunade. "You good?" "I had it under control," she said, but her smile betrayed her relief. "Though your timing was impeccable. They were targeting you specifically. This whole attack is coordinated." Naruto's observation haki swept across Konoha, counting signatures. Sound ninja throughout the village, all moving with purpose. This isn't a random assault. It's a distraction, Tsunade realized. Orochimaru wants us focused on defending while he accomplishes his real objective, which is unknown. But knowing that snake, it involves either stealing something or eliminating someone he considers a threat. Her eyes met Naruto's. "You need to find him. End this." "Already on it." Naruto's observation haki had been searching throughout their conversation. And now, at the edge of his sensory range, he felt it. That familiar, twisted chakra signature. Found him. He's at the old training ground where I first demonstrated my haki to you. The irony isn't lost on me. "Go. I'll coordinate the village defense." Naruto nodded and turned to leave, but Tsunade's voice stopped him. "Naruto, Orochimaru has had 3 years to prepare. He knows what you're capable of. He wouldn't come back unless he had a plan." "I know." Naruto's grin was feral, but he's making the same mistake everyone makes. They plan for the Naruto from last time. They prepare for the power level I showed them. His entire body erupted with black armament haki, and Conqueror's lightning crackled around him. They never account for the fact that I've gotten stronger. He vanished in a blur of speed, leaving Tsunade alone with the unconscious sound ninja. The Hokage looked at the destruction around her, the craters, the shattered ground, the evidence of Naruto's overwhelming power, and smiled. "Good luck, Orochimaru. You're going to need it." The old training ground was exactly as Naruto remembered it, a wide clearing surrounded by forest, with stone pillars marking its boundaries. But now, in the fading evening light, it felt different, ominous. Orochimaru stood in the center, his pale skin almost glowing in the dim light. But he wasn't alone. Beside him stood a figure Naruto recognized from reputation only, Kabuto Yakushi, the medical ninja who'd revealed himself as Orochimaru's spy during the Chunin exams. "Naruto-kun," Orochimaru said, his voice carrying that sick amusement. Right on time. I knew you wouldn't be able to resist coming when you sensed my presence. Cut the small talk, Snake. Naruto's hand moved to Murakumogiri. You attacked my village, threatened my family. I'm here to kill you. That's all there is to it. So direct. So simple. Orochimaru's smile widened. But tell me, Naruto-kun, have you ever wondered why I came back? After 3 years of hiding, of preparing you, why would I risk confronting you again? Don't know. Don't care. Because I figured you out. Orochimaru made a hand seal, and the ground beneath them began to glow with sealing marks. Your power is incredible, possibly the greatest I've ever encountered, but it has one critical weakness. Naruto's observation haki detected the trap a second before it activated. He tried to move, but the seals had already formed a cage of pure chakra around the clearing. Not to keep him in, to keep others out. You're predictable, Orochimaru continued. You always rush to protect your precious people. You always put yourself between them and danger, and you never, ever consider that someone might use that against you. Kabuto's hands moved through seals, and suddenly dozens of signatures appeared throughout Konoha, each one at the location of someone Naruto considered family. Lee, Tenten, Guy, other jonin he'd befriended, civilians he'd saved. Each signature carried the same message, explosive tags primed and ready to detonate. A simple choice, Naruto-kun, Orochimaru said. Fight me and your precious family dies. Or, his smile was pure poison. Submit to my experiments willingly, and I'll deactivate the tags. Your power, your strange abilities, your unique physiology, I want to study it all. Become my test subject and your family lives. Naruto stood perfectly still for 3 seconds. His observation haki confirmed Orochimaru's threat. The tags were real, positioned exactly where they'd do maximum damage, timed to explode simultaneously. Then he started laughing. Grrrr! The laugh built in intensity until it shook the very ground. Oh, Snake, you really don't get it, do you? Orochimaru's smile faltered slightly. What? You think you figured me out. You think you found my weakness. You think threatening my family gives you leverage. Naruto's eyes opened and they burned with absolute certainty. But you made 3 critical mistakes. And those are? First mistake. You assumed I'd need to be in the village to protect my family. Naruto's observation haki pulsed, and across Konoha, Lee, Tenten, and Guy suddenly knew exactly where the explosive tags near them were hidden. The training Naruto had given them, the connection he'd built, allowed him to share his sensory information directly with his closest family members. Lee moved with blinding speed, his enhanced reflexes and observation haki allowing him to locate and disable 3 tags in as many seconds. Tenten's thrown kunai, enhanced with armament haki, detonated 2 tags safely away from civilians. Guy's taijutsu precision allowed him to disable 4 tags simultaneously. Throughout the village, Naruto's family moved with perfect coordination, eliminating the threat faster than Orochimaru could react. Second mistake, Naruto continued, his grin widening. You assumed this barrier could actually hold me. He placed one hand on the chakra barrier, and black armament haki coated his palm. Then tremor energy began building. Not explosive, but sustained, a constant vibration that resonated with the barrier's frequency. The barrier, designed to withstand even Biju-level attacks, began to crack. The seals holding it together literally shattered under the sustained tremor assault. And third mistake? Orochimaru asked, his voice tight with barely contained fear. You came back thinking you knew my power level. Naruto's entire body erupted with haki, black armament coating him completely, Conqueror's lightning crackling in the air around him, and his observation haki painting a perfect picture of the battlefield. You planned for the genin who fought Zabuza. You prepared for the chunin who battled during the invasion. He took a step forward, and the ground cracked beneath his foot. But I'm not that person anymore. 3 years, Snake. 3 years of training every single day. 3 years of pushing my haki to new heights. 3 years of mastering my tremor power. Another step, another crack. You wanted to see the Tremor King at full power? Congratulations. You're about to get your wish. Naruto's Conqueror's haki exploded outward with such force that the barrier shattered completely. Trees bent. The stone pillars marking the training ground's boundaries cracked and crumbled. Even the sky seemed to darken under the pressure of his will. Kabuto collapsed immediately, his mind unable to withstand the overwhelming presence. Orochimaru remained standing, but barely. His body trembled, his snake-like eyes wide with something approaching genuine fear. "This is impossible," Orochimaru gasped. "This level of power, it shouldn't exist in a human body. I'm not just human." Naruto's grin was feral. "I'm the strongest man alive, and you just made the worst mistake of your life." He moved. Orochimaru, for all his legendary status, for all his preparations and enhancements, couldn't even see the attack coming. Naruto's fist, coated in advanced armament and Conqueror's haki, surrounded by the largest Shinkuha tremor sphere he'd ever created, drove into Orochimaru's guard. The impact created a shockwave visible from the village. The ground beneath them didn't just crack, it shattered, creating a crater 50 feet deep. Trees within a 100-yard radius were uprooted by the tremor force. Orochimaru's body was sent flying, crashing through 3 trees before slamming into a boulder hard enough to crack the stone. He coughed blood, his enhanced body already working to heal the damage, but the shock in his eyes was absolute. "That was a love tap," Naruto said, walking toward him. "Here's what a real punch feels like. Gekishin!" He stomped the ground, and the severe earthquake technique activated. The entire training ground tilted 30 degrees as the earth itself responded to Naruto's command. Orochimaru, already off balance from the previous attack, couldn't compensate. He slid down the tilted surface, desperately trying to regain his footing. Naruto appeared above him, Murakumogiri in hand, the Bisento coated in black armament and crackling with Conqueror's lightning. "Kabuto Wari!" The blade swung down in a perfect arc, and Orochimaru barely managed to substitute with a snake at the last second. The Bisento cleaved through the substitute and continued into the ground, the combined tremor and haki force creating a chasm that extended 100 feet in both directions. "Good reflexes," Naruto acknowledged. "But you can't run forever." His observation haki tracked Orochimaru's real position, 30 feet to the left, emerging from the ground in a spray of earth. The Sannin made hand seals with desperate speed. Formation of 10,000 snakes! Thousands of serpents erupted from Orochimaru's body, each one venomous, each one moving with coordinated precision to surround and overwhelm Naruto. It was one of Orochimaru's most feared techniques, capable of devouring entire armies. Naruto's response was simple: Shima Yurashi. He punched the air, and the island tilting technique activated at full power. The ground didn't just tilt, it flipped, a section of earth 300 feet across, rotating like a coin. The snakes, caught in the sudden gravitational shift, lost all coordination. They fell, twisted, and collided with each other in a writhing mass. Atmospheric split. Naruto clapped his hands together, and the air between his palms cracked like shattering glass. The resulting shockwave spread outward in a cone, and every snake in its path simply ceased to exist. Not killed, but erased by the sheer force of compressed atmosphere. Orochimaru stared at the devastation. His most powerful summoning technique, the one that had terrified battlefields, had been countered with casual efficiency. "You're a monster," Orochimaru whispered. "No." Naruto's voice was cold. "I'm just a man protecting his family. You're the monster snake. You experiment on children. You betray your village. You kill without remorse. And now?" He raised Murakumogiri. "Now you pay." Orochimaru tried one last desperate gambit. His body began to distend, his jaw unhinging impossibly wide, and a new body began emerging from his mouth, the body-shedding technique that had allowed him to escape death countless times. Naruto's observation haki predicted it 3 seconds before it happened. His hand shot out, and he grabbed Orochimaru's throat, not the old body, but the new one emerging, the one the Sannin was trying to escape into. "Saw that coming," Naruto said. "Observation haki, remember? I can predict your moves before you make them." His grip tightened, and black armament haki coated his hand. But more than that, tremor energy began building, a controlled, sustained vibration that resonated with Orochimaru's very cells. "This is a new technique I've been working on," Naruto explained casually as Orochimaru's eyes widened in terror. "Internal tremor destruction. I vibrate your cells at a frequency that tears them apart from the inside. No amount of regeneration can save you because I'm destroying you faster than you can heal." "Wait," Orochimaru gasped. "We can make a deal. I have knowledge, techniques. You threaten my family. There is no deal. There is no mercy. There's just the end. The tremor energy pulsed, and Orochimaru's new body began to disintegrate. The Sannin screamed, a sound of pure agony that echoed across the forest. His old body collapsed, lifeless. His new body, the one he tried to escape into, crumbled to ash in Naruto's grip. Gurara, Naruto laughed softly. You should have stayed hidden, Snake. You should have never come back. He released the ashes that were all that remained of Orochimaru, letting them scatter in the wind. Then he turned to Kabuto, who was just beginning to regain consciousness. You've got two choices, Naruto said. Run and never come back to Fire Country, or stay and join your master. Kabuto, faced with the man who just erased one of the legendary Sannin from existence, made the smart choice. He substituted away without a word, his body disappearing in a puff of smoke. Naruto let him go. Kabuto wasn't family, wasn't worth the effort. His observation haki swept across Konoha, checking on his people. Lee, Tenten, Guy, all safe. The explosive tags had been neutralized. The sound ninja invasion was being mopped up by Konoha forces. The immediate threat was over. He began walking back to the village, Murakumogiri resting on his shoulder, his conqueror's haki slowly retracting to normal levels. The battle had lasted less than 5 minutes. The result had been absolute. By the time Naruto returned to Konoha, the village was already celebrating. The sound ninja had been captured or killed. The explosive tags had been found and disabled. And word had spread. The Tremor King had killed Orochimaru. Tsunade met him at the village gates, her expression a mix of relief and awe. Is it done? She asked. It's done. Orochimaru is dead. Kabuto fled. The Sound Village's attack is finished. Naruto looked out over his village. How many casualties? Surprisingly few. Your early warning gave us time to prepare. Your family's coordination in disabling the explosive tag saved hundreds of lives. Tsunade's smile was genuine. You did good, Naruto. I protected my family. That's all that matters. That night, after the cleanup was finished and the wounded were being treated, Team Guy gathered on Naruto's apartment roof again. It had become their tradition after major events, a moment to breathe, to reflect, to simply be together. Brother, Lee said quietly, what you did today? That power you showed. It was beyond anything I imagined. I've been training, Naruto replied, every day for 3 years, pushing my haki further, mastering my tremor abilities, refining my techniques. He looked at his hands, where black armament still flickered occasionally. But I'm not done yet. There are still enemies out there, still threats to my family. Like what? Tenten asked. Naruto's observation haki, stretched to its absolute limit, could sense disturbances across the continent. And somewhere, far to the east, there were signatures that made even his instincts scream warnings. Massive chakra sources, ancient powers, threats that made Orochimaru seem almost quaint by comparison. There's an organization, Naruto said slowly. I've been sensing them for months now. They call themselves Akatsuki, and they're hunting something or someone with incredible determination. What are they after? Guy asked, his expression serious. The Biju, the tailed beasts. Naruto's jaw clenched, and I can sense one of them, a massive chakra signature, heading this way. They're coming for Konoha, and soon. How soon? Weeks, maybe days. Naruto stood, his massive frame silhouetted against the night sky. We need to prepare, because when they come, it's not going to be like Orochimaru's attack. These people, they're on a completely different level. Are they stronger than you? Lee asked. No. Naruto's answer was absolute certainty. But they're strong enough that I'll need to go all out. Strong enough that the village could be damaged if we fight here. Strong enough that... He trailed off, his observation haki detecting something. Actually, forget weeks or days. They're here now. His haki had just sensed 2 signatures entering Konoha's borders, both powerful, both radiating killing intent, and both moving directly toward the village center. Everyone get ready, Naruto commanded. Guy-sensei alert Tsunade. Lee, Tenten with me. We're about to meet the Akatsuki. They moved as one, racing across the rooftops toward the signatures Naruto had detected. They arrived at the village center to find 2 figures standing calmly in the middle of the street, completely unconcerned by the ambush surrounding them. One was massive, easily 7 feet tall, with blue skin and a shark-like appearance. A giant bandaged sword rested on his back. The other was smaller, with black hair and red eyes that glowed with an unnatural light. Sharingan. Itachi Uchiha, Guy breathed. And Kasame Hoshigaki, S-rank missing nin from their respective villages. More than that, Naruto said, his observation haki analyzing their chakra. They're wearing those black cloaks with red clouds, Akatsuki members. His eyes narrowed. And they're here for a reason. What do you want? Itachi's red eyes met Naruto's blue ones. We're here for the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. Hand them over and we'll leave peacefully. There was a moment of confused silence. Then Naruto started laughing. Grararara! You think I'm the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki? Is that why you're here? His laughter built in intensity. Sorry to disappoint, but I'm not your target. I'm just the guy who's about to kick your asses for threatening my village. Kisame grinned, showing rows of shark-like teeth. Itachi, I like this kid. Can I fight him? You can try, Naruto said. But here's a better idea. Both of you attack me at once. You'll last longer that way. Itachi's expression didn't change, but Naruto's observation haki detected a spike in the Uchiha's interest. You're confident, but do you understand what you're facing? We are Akatsuki. We've defeated Kage-level opponents. We've hunted Biju. And I'm the Tremor King. I've killed Sanin. I've mastered all 3 forms of haki. I can crack the atmosphere itself with my punches. Naruto's entire body erupted with black armament haki. So let's skip the posturing and get to the part where I show you the difference between us. Kasame moved first, his speed impressive for someone his size. Samehada, his massive sword, swung in a vicious arc designed to drain Naruto's chakra on contact. Naruto caught the blade with his bare hand. Nice sword, he commented, his armament-hardened grip treating the legendary chakra-eating blade like a toy. But I don't use chakra. I use haki. See the difference? He ripped Samehada out of Kasame's grip and casually tossed it aside. The shark man stared at his empty hands in disbelief. That's impossible. Samehada weighs. Don't care. Naruto's fist drove into Kasame's stomach, and even without tremor enhancement, the blow sent the Akatsuki member flying backward to crash into a building. You're strong for a jonin, but I'm playing in a different league. Itachi attacked while Naruto was focused on Kasame. Genjutsu. Layers upon layers of illusion designed to trap even the strongest minds. For most opponents, Itachi's Sharingan Genjutsu was inescapable. Naruto's observation haki detected the chakra manipulation and simply rejected it. His willpower, manifested through Conqueror's haki, was so overwhelming that the Genjutsu couldn't take hold. Genjutsu won't work, Naruto said, turning to face Itachi. My observation haki lets me sense reality directly. Your illusions can't fool what I can perceive on a fundamental level. Itachi's eyes widened fractionally, the most emotion Naruto had seen from him. Interesting. Then how about this, Amaterasu? Black flames erupted from Itachi's eyes, targeting Naruto directly. The flames that supposedly couldn't be extinguished, that burned hotter than normal fire, that had defeated countless opponents. Naruto's entire body coated in advanced armament haki, the kind that created an invisible barrier around his body. The Amaterasu flames hit the barrier and simply stopped. They burned against the haki coating but couldn't penetrate it. Creative, Naruto acknowledged. But armament haki isn't just physical hardening. It's a manifestation of willpower that creates a barrier between me and attacks. Your flames can't touch what they can't reach. He clapped his hands together, and the shockwave dispersed the Amaterasu flames harmlessly. Kasame had recovered and rejoined the fight, attacking in coordination with Itachi. Water techniques from Kasame created openings for Itachi's fire techniques, the combination creating steam that obscured vision and allowed for surprise attacks. Against normal opponents, it would have been devastating. Against Naruto's observation haki, it was pointless. You're both strong, Naruto said, dodging every attack with minimal movement. But you're using the wrong approach. Techniques don't matter if I can predict them. Coordination doesn't help if I can sense both of you perfectly. And power doesn't mean much if you can't actually hit me. He decided to end it. His Conqueror's haki exploded outward with focused intensity, not the wide area effect he'd used against weaker opponents, but a concentrated beam of pure willpower directed at both Akatsuki members. Kasame dropped to one knee, his shark-like constitution barely keeping him conscious under the pressure. Itachi remained standing, but his Sharingan flickered as he fought to maintain consciousness. This is Conqueror's haki, Naruto explained. The manifestation of a king's will. 1 in a million people have it, and I've mastered it to a level you can't comprehend. He took a step forward. Now here's what's going to happen. You're going to leave my village. You're going to tell your Akatsuki organization that Konoha is off limits, and if any of you ever threaten my family again. His fist erupted with tremor energy, and he punched the ground. The Gekishin technique activated, creating a localized earthquake that cracked the street for 100 feet in every direction. Buildings swayed. The Anbu watching had to grab onto structures to avoid falling. I'll show you what happens when I stop holding back. Itachi and Kasame, faced with overwhelming power and a promise of total annihilation, made the smart choice. Black flames formed around them, not Amaterasu, but some kind of transportation technique, and they vanished. The street fell silent. Then the Anbu began to cheer. The civilians who'd been watching from windows and doorways erupted in celebration. Naruto had just driven off 2 S-rank missing nin without breaking a sweat. Tsunade arrived moments later, her expression a mix of relief and exasperation. Naruto, you just fought off 2 Akatsuki members in the middle of the village. They started it. I finished it, Naruto shrugged. Besides, minimal collateral damage. I'm getting better at controlling my power. You cracked the street for 100 feet. Could have been worse. I could have used Kabutowari, would have split the entire district. Naruto's grin was unrepentant. Point is, they're gone. Village is safe. Family is protected. Mission accomplished. Tsunade pinched the bridge of her nose. We need to talk about what just happened. In my office. Now. 10 minutes later, Naruto stood in the Hokage's office alongside Guy, while Tsunade paced behind her desk. Akatsuki is targeting the Biju, she said. That much is clear from their attack, but if they think you're the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, they'll keep coming back. We need to correct that misunderstanding. Or, Naruto suggested, we let them keep thinking it, makes me the target instead of whoever the real Jinchuriki is. I can handle Akatsuki. Can the real target? That's actually not a terrible idea, Tsunade admitted, but it puts you in constant danger. I'm always in danger. I'm the strongest. That makes me a target by default. Naruto crossed his arms. Besides, I want Akatsuki coming after me. Gives me a chance to show them what happens when you threaten my family. There's something else, Guy interjected. Itachi Uchiha. There are rumors about him, about why he really left Konoha, about what really happened to the Uchiha clan. Save it, Naruto said. I don't care about clan politics or old grudges. He threatened my village. That's all that matters. If he comes back, I'll deal with him the same way I dealt with Orochimaru. Tsunade sat down heavily. Naruto, you're the strongest asset this village has, but you can't fight the entire Akatsuki organization alone. Watch me. Naruto's confidence wasn't arrogance, it was simple fact. I'm the Tremor King. I can crack islands. I can split the atmosphere. I've mastered all 3 types of haki. There isn't a shinobi alive who can match me in single combat. What about multiple combat? What if they all attack at once? Then I'll show them what happens when you make me get serious. Naruto's eyes hardened. I haven't used my full power yet. Not against Zabuza, not against the Sound Invasion, not even against Orochimaru or the Akatsuki. Because every time I fight, I'm holding back to avoid killing my own people with collateral damage. And if you didn't hold back, I could sink this entire village into the ground. I could create earthquakes visible from other countries. I could split the sky itself. Naruto's voice was calm, matter of fact. I'm prime Whitebeard level, Tsunade. Do you understand what that means? In my world, Whitebeard was called the strongest man in the world and the man closest to One Piece. He could destroy the world if he wanted, and I have all of his power. The office fell silent. Tsunade stared at Naruto, truly comprehending for the first time just what kind of force she had in her village. Then why do you stay? She asked quietly. With that much power, you could go anywhere, do anything. Why protect Konoha? Because Konoha has my family. Lee, Tenten, Guy, you, old man Tochi at the ramen stand, the kids I've saved, the people who've accepted me. Naruto's expression softened. Power without people to protect is just violence. But power used to defend those you love? That's strength. That's what makes you truly strong. Tsunade smiled, genuine warmth in her expression. Hiruzen was right about you. You would make a good Hokage. Still not interested in the job, but I'll protect the village and everyone in it. Naruto turned to leave. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have training to do. If Akatsuki is coming, I want to be ready. Over the next month, Naruto's training reached levels that bordered on superhuman, even by shinobi standards. He'd retreat to remote areas, places where his techniques wouldn't endanger civilians, and push his abilities to their absolute limits. Lee and Tenten trained with him when they could, but increasingly, they found themselves unable to keep up. Naruto's power had reached a plateau that normal ninjas simply couldn't approach. "Brother," Lee said one day after being knocked down by the pressure wave from one of Naruto's punches, "I feel like I am falling behind." "You're not falling behind, you're progressing normally." Naruto helped him up. "I'm just progressing abnormally. My tremor power, my haki, my physical abilities, they're all beyond what normal humans can achieve. But that doesn't mean you're weak." "Then why do I feel so useless when I watch you fight?" "Because you're comparing yourself to me instead of to who you were." Naruto placed a hand on Lee's shoulder. 3 years ago, you couldn't even sense attacks with observation haki. Now you can predict strikes 2 seconds before they land. You couldn't use armament haki at all. Now you can coat your limbs in basic hardening. You're not weak, Lee. You're just standing next to a monster. "You are not a monster." "Maybe not, but I'm definitely not normal," Naruto grinned. "Come on, let's work on your speed. If you can't match my power, we'll make you so fast that power doesn't matter." The training continued, and Lee's speed increased dramatically. Tenten's weapon mastery reached levels where she could hit targets a mile away with perfect accuracy. Her armament-coated projectiles capable of piercing steel. Guy's taijutsu evolved to incorporate basic observation haki, making him even more formidable. But they all knew the truth. If Akatsuki came in force, Naruto would be the primary defender. They would support him, but the real battle would be his alone. The attack came 6 weeks after Itachi and Kasame's first visit. Naruto's observation haki detected them first, multiple signatures, all powerful, all converging on Konoha from different directions. He counted 7 distinct presences, each one radiating chakra comparable to or exceeding Jonin level. "They're here," he announced to Tsunade. 7 of them. Akatsuki is making their real move. 7 S-rank missing 9 attacking at once? Tsunade's face went pale. "We need to evacuate the civilians, alert all Jonin, activate all defensive measures. No time. They'll be in the village in minutes." Naruto's jaw set. "I'm going out to meet them. Keep everyone inside. This is going to get messy." "Naruto, you can't fight 7. "Yes, I can. Just watch." He vanished before she could protest further, his body moving at speeds that made sound seem slow. He positioned himself a mile outside Konoha's walls, in a barren valley where collateral damage wouldn't matter. And he waited. They arrived in a coordinated formation, 7 figures in black cloaks with red clouds, each one radiating confidence and power. Naruto recognized 2 of them, Itachi and Kasame. The others were new. The apparent leader stepped forward, a man with orange hair and ringed eyes that seemed to pierce reality itself. Rinnegan, Naruto's instinct screamed, an evolution of the Sharingan even more dangerous. "I am Pain," the leader said, his voice carrying absolute authority. "Leader of Akatsuki. You are Naruto Uzumaki, the one called the Tremor King. We've come for the 9 tails sealed within you." "How many times do I have to say this?" "I'm not the 9 tails Jinchuriki." Naruto's exasperation was genuine. "I'm just a guy with weird powers who happens to live in Konoha. Your chakra signature is unique. Our intelligence suggests. Your intelligence is wrong. But you know what? I don't care." Naruto's entire body erupted with black armament haki. "You came to my village. You threatened my family. You brought 7 S-rank ninja to my doorstep. So here's how this is going to work." His conqueror's haki began building, the pressure making the air itself feel heavy. "You're going to attack me with everything you've got. You're going to use every technique, every combination, every trick in your arsenal. And then, when you're exhausted and broken and defeated, you're going to leave and never come back. Because I'm about to show you what it means to face the strongest man alive." The conqueror's haki released. The pressure wave was so intense that the ground cracked. 3 of the 7 Akatsuki members, the ones with weaker wills, actually stumbled. Even Pain's eyes widened fractionally. Impossible, one of them whispered, a blond man with a mouthy expression. This level of presence, it's like facing a biju. Worse than a biju, Naruto corrected. Biju are forces of nature. I'm a force of will. Now come on, show me what Akatsuki can do. They attacked as one, their coordination perfect, their techniques devastating. Water techniques from Kasame, fire techniques from Itachi, explosive clay from the blonde, paper techniques from a blue-haired woman, plant-based attacks from a Venus flytrap creature, threads from a man whose face was covered by a mask, and from Pain, gravity techniques that could crush steel. Naruto's observation haki tracked every attack, predicted every combination, analyzed every pattern. His body moved with impossible precision, dodging what he needed to dodge, blocking what he needed to block, his armament haki protecting him from techniques that would have killed normal ninja. Good teamwork, he acknowledged. But let me show you something. He punched the air, and Shinkoha activated. The tremor sphere that erupted from his fist was the size of a house, expanding as it traveled. The Akatsuki members scattered, but the shockwave caught 3 of them, Kasame, the blonde, and the thread user. They were sent flying, their bodies crashing into distant rocks with enough force to crater stone. That's one technique, Naruto said. I've got dozens more. Want to see another one? Gekishin! He stomped the ground, and the valley itself tilted as the severe earthquake technique activated. The remaining Akatsuki members lost their footing, their techniques disrupted by the shifting terrain. Kabutowari! Murakumogiri appeared in his hands. He'd sealed it away earlier, but now summoned it with a burst of chakra, and the Bicento swung in a devastating arc. The blade, coated in Conqueror's haki that crackled with black lightning, carved through the air itself. The resulting shockwave split the valley in 2, creating a chasm 50 feet deep and 300 feet long. Pain managed to dodge, using his gravity technique to pull himself to safety. Itachi substituted at the last second. The plant creature burrowed underground. The paper woman dispersed into thousands of sheets. But the 3 who'd been hit by Shinkuha weren't so lucky. They lay unconscious or barely conscious in their respective craters, already defeated. 4 left, Naruto counted. This is disappointing. I expected more from the organization hunting Biju. Pain's expression hardened. You forced my hand! Shinra Tensei! Gravity inverted, and Naruto was hit by a repulsive force designed to crush buildings. It would have killed a normal ninja instantly. Naruto's armament haki absorbed the initial impact, and his tremor power activated instinctively, his body vibrating at a frequency that disrupted the gravity technique. Gravity manipulation? Interesting. But it's still just force, and force can be countered with equal force. Naruto's fist erupted with tremor energy. Let me show you. Atmospheric split. He clapped his hands together, and the air between his palms cracked like shattering reality. The shockwave that erupted was so powerful, it created a visible distortion in space. Atmosphere compressed to the point of becoming almost solid, then released in a devastating blast. Pain's Shinra Tensei met the atmospheric split head-on, and the collision created an explosion that lit up the sky for miles. The shockwave flattened everything within 500 feet. Even distant Konoha felt the tremor. When the dust cleared, Pain stood in a crater, his cloak torn, his ringed eyes showing something approaching respect. You are strong, stronger than our intelligence suggested, but you cannot defeat us all. Chibaku Tensei. Pain raised his hand, and a black sphere formed in the sky above them. The sphere began pulling everything toward it, earth, rocks, trees, even the air itself. It was a technique designed to create a moon-sized prison, the same technique that had sealed Biju in the past. Naruto felt the pull, felt his body being dragged toward the sphere. A normal ninja would have been trapped instantly. Naruto just grinned. You want to see my full power? Fine. I'll show you what I've been holding back. His entire body erupted with haki, black armament coating every inch, Conqueror's lightning crackling around him like a storm, his observation haki expanding to cover the entire battlefield. The pressure of his presence was so overwhelming that even Pain's technique faltered. This is perfect tremor mode, Naruto announced. Every type of haki active simultaneously, my tremor power at maximum output, my physical abilities pushed past human limits. In this state, I am unstoppable. He raised both fists, and tremor spheres formed around them, not the normal Shinkuha spheres, but massive constructs that dwarfed anything he'd created before. Each sphere was the size of a building, crackling with black lightning, distorting space itself. Dual Gekishin! He punched upward with both fists, and the twin tremor spheres shot toward Pain's Chibaku Tensei. The collision was apocalyptic. The black sphere shattered, the gravitational pull reversed, and the resulting explosion created a shockwave that could be felt in every village for 100 miles. When the dust cleared, Pain's technique was gone. The Akatsuki leader stood in the same crater, but now his body was trembling, his chakra visibly depleted. "This is impossible," Pain gasped. "You're just one person. You can't have this much power." "I'm not just one person. I'm the Tremor King. I'm the strongest man alive. I'm the guy who's about to end Akatsuki's threat to my family." Naruto's voice was absolute certainty. "Now, here's what happens next. You retreat. You tell your organization that Konoha is off limits. You never threaten my village again. Or," he raised Murakumogiri, the Bicento gleaming with Conqueror's lightning, "I hunt down every single Akatsuki member and show them what happens when you make an enemy of me." Itachi, who'd been watching from a distance, spoke for the first time. "Pain, we should retreat. This opponent is beyond our current capabilities." The plant creature emerged from the ground, its face grave. "Agreed. We need to reassess our strategy." Pain stared at Naruto for a long moment, his ringed eyes analyzing, calculating. Then, slowly, he nodded. "This isn't over, Tremor King. Akatsuki will return, and next time, we'll be prepared. Looking forward to it." Naruto's grin was feral. "Gives me something to do between training sessions." Black flames formed around the Akatsuki members, the same transportation technique Itachi had used before, and they vanished, leaving Naruto alone in the destroyed valley. He stood there for a moment, his observation haki confirming they were truly gone. Then his body relaxed, the perfect tremor mode deactivating, his haki retracting to normal levels. "Gararara," he laughed softly. "They thought they could take me. They really thought 7 S-rank ninja were enough." He looked back toward Konoha, where his family waited. "Guess I need to train harder. Make sure next time isn't even close." By the time Naruto returned to the village, word had already spread. He'd fought 7 Akatsuki members and driven them all off without breaking a sweat. The legend of the Tremor King grew even larger. Tsunade met him at the gates, her expression a mix of relief and awe. The entire village felt those tremors. What happened out there? "I showed Akatsuki why they should leave Konoha alone." Naruto shrugged. "They retreated. 3 of them were unconscious when they left. The leader's technique was completely countered. Message sent." "Naruto, you just fought off the entire Akatsuki organization by yourself." "Not the entire organization. Just 7 of them. Probably have more members hiding somewhere." Naruto's eyes scanned the village, his observation haki checking on his family. "But yeah, I handled it. That's what I do." That night, Team Guy gathered again, and Naruto explained what had happened in detail. Lee and Tenten listened with wide eyes as he described the techniques, the coordination, the sheer power of the Akatsuki members. "And you defeated them all alone?" Lee asked. "Drove them off. Didn't kill them. Wanted to send a message more than eliminate them." Naruto leaned back. "Besides, killing them all might have been tricky. They had an escape technique I couldn't counter without revealing more of my power." "More of your power?" Tenen's voice was incredulous. "You used perfect tremor mode. What's more than that?" "Techniques I haven't shown anyone, combinations I've been developing, applications of my tremor power that would literally reshape the landscape." Naruto's expression grew serious. "I'm holding back even when I'm going all out. Because if I truly unleashed everything I'm capable of, the collateral damage would be catastrophic." "How catastrophic?" Guy asked quietly. "I could sink this continent into the ocean. I could create earthquakes that would be felt around the world. I could split the atmosphere itself and potentially disrupt global weather patterns." Naruto's voice was matter-of-fact. "Prime Whitebeard was called the man who could destroy the world for a reason, and I have all of his power." The roof fell silent. The weight of what Naruto was saying, the sheer incomprehensible scale of his abilities, was finally sinking in. "Then why don't you?" Lee asked. "Why hold back at all?" "Because power without control is just destruction. Because my strength exists to protect, not to conquer. Because my family lives on this continent, And I'm not about to destroy their home just to prove a point. Naruto's eyes softened. The strongest man isn't the one who can destroy everything. It's the one who can protect everything while destroying only his enemies. That is very wise, brother. Nah, it's just common sense. No point being the strongest if everyone you care about is dead. 3 months passed peacefully. Akatsuki didn't return. The village recovered from the sound invasion. Training continued. Life returned to normal. But Naruto's observation haki detected something new, a disturbance far to the east, in a nation he'd barely heard of, a massive concentration of chakra gathering with clear hostile intent. Tsunade, he said during one of their regular meetings, have you heard anything about unusual activity in the land of Earth? Earth country? Why? My observation haki is detecting something, large-scale troop movements, massive chakra concentrations. They're mobilizing for something. Naruto's eyes narrowed. Feels like preparation for war. Tsunade's expression grew grave. The 5 great nations have been at peace for years. If Earth country is preparing for war, it could destabilize the entire continent. Want me to investigate? Alone? Naruto, even you can't. I absolutely can. I'll go, scout their forces, maybe have a chat with their Tsuchikage about why they're mobilizing. Naruto grinned. Besides, if they are planning war, better they target me than Konoha, right? That's actually sound logic, Tsunade sighed. Fine, but this is an S-rank mission. Take backup. Lee and Tenten can come if they want. Guys should stay and help defend the village in case Akatsuki tries something while I'm gone. 24 hours later, Naruto, Lee, and Tenten stood at the land of Earth's border. The journey had taken them through multiple countries, across mountain ranges, and past dozens of small villages. Naruto's observation haki had guided them the entire way. Brother, Lee said as they looked at the rocky landscape ahead, what exactly is the plan? Simple. We find their military headquarters. I walk in and ask what they're planning. If they're hostile, I demonstrate why picking a fight with Konoha is a bad idea. If they're reasonable, we establish diplomatic relations and maybe prevent a war. That is a very straightforward plan. I'm a straightforward guy. They moved through Earth Country's territory, Naruto's observation haki tracking the massive troop concentrations. They were all converging on a single location, a massive fortress built into a mountain where the Tsuchikage himself resided. There, Naruto said, pointing to the fortress. That's where we're going. They approached openly, making no attempt to hide their presence. Within minutes, Earth ninjas surrounded them. Dozens of Jonin-level fighters, all armed, all ready for combat. You're trespassing in Earth Country territory, their leader said. Identify yourselves. Naruto Uzumaki, the Tremor King from Konoha Gakure. These are my teammates, Rock Lee and Tenten. We're here to speak with your Tsuchikage about the military mobilization we've detected. Naruto's voice was calm, reasonable. We can do this peacefully, or we can do it the hard way. Your choice. The Earth Ninja exchanged glances. Then their leader spoke into a radio, relaying the message. After a tense minute, the response came. The Tsuchikage will see you, but you must surrender your weapons and submit it to chakra suppression seals. No, Naruto's answer was flat. I keep my Basento. Lee and Tenten keep their equipment. No seals. We're here for diplomacy, not surrender. If your Tsuchikage wants to talk, he can talk to us as equals. If not, we leave. Another tense moment. Another radio conversation. Then, surprisingly, the Tsuchikage accepts your terms. Follow us. They were led through the fortress, past training grounds filled with thousands of ninja, past armories stocked with enough weapons to equip an army, past strategic rooms where generals planned campaigns. Finally, they reached the Tsuchikage's office, a massive chamber carved from solid rock, where an elderly man with a prominent nose sat behind a stone desk. Naruto Uzumaki, the Tsuchikage said, his voice gravely. The Tremor King. I've heard stories, killed Orochimaru, drove off Akatsuki, single-handedly defeated dozens of enemies. Are the stories true? Mostly. Some of them are exaggerated. Some don't go far enough. Naruto met the old man's eyes without flinching. But we're not here to discuss my reputation. We're here because you're mobilizing an army, and I want to know why. The Tsuchikage's expression hardened. That's Earth Country business, not Konoha's concern. It becomes Konoha's concern when your army is positioned to march on Fire Country. So I'll ask again, why are you mobilizing? We're preparing for a threat. a threat to all 5 great nations. The Tsuchikage stood, his old body moving with surprising strength. You mentioned Akatsuki. Do you know what they're after? The Biju, the tailed beasts. Correct, and do you know what happens if they succeed, if they gather all 9 Biju? Enlighten me. They could potentially create a weapon capable of destroying entire nations, the combined power of all tailed beasts, controlled by a single organization. The Tsuchikage's voice was grim. It would make them unstoppable. So the 5 great nations are forming an alliance, a united front against Akatsuki. Naruto processed this. You're preparing for war against Akatsuki, not against each other. Correct, but we need Konoha's cooperation. Specifically, we need you. Me? You fought Akatsuki and won. You understand their capabilities, and more importantly, the Tsuchikage's eyes gleamed. You're strong enough to face their leader directly. We've received intelligence that Pain, their leader, possesses the Rinnegan, the legendary eyes that can control all 5 nature transformations. He's effectively Kaji level or beyond. We need someone who can match him. And you think I'm that someone? I know you are. The question is, will you help? Will you stand with the 5 nations against Akatsuki? Naruto was quiet for a moment, his mind racing. This was bigger than just Konoha. This was continental-scale conflict. This was exactly the kind of situation where his power could make the difference. I'll help, he said finally, but on my terms. I fight to protect people, not to conquer. I won't participate in any plan that involves sacrificing civilians or using the Biju as weapons. And my family, Team Guy and everyone else I care about in Konoha, they're off limits. No one touches them. Agreed. We're forming a coalition to defend against Akatsuki, not to wage aggressive war. The Tsuchikage extended a hand. Welcome to the Allied Shinobi Forces, Tremor King. Naruto shook it, his grip firm. When does this war start? Soon. We're gathering forces now. The official declaration will come within weeks. Akatsuki has been making moves, hunting specific Jinchuriki, gathering resources, building their army. They know we're mobilizing, and they're racing to complete their plan before we can stop them. Then we need to hit them first, find their base, eliminate their leadership, end the threat before it becomes unstoppable. Naruto's eyes hardened. I'm tired of waiting for them to come to me. It's time to take the fight to Akatsuki. Over the next 2 weeks, the Allied Shinobi forces assembled. Ninja from all 5 major villages gathered at designated locations, their numbers swelling into the tens of thousands. Kages from each village coordinated strategies, shared intelligence, and prepared for the largest military operation in recent history. Naruto participated in the planning sessions, his unique perspective and overwhelming power making him a critical asset. The other Kages treated him with a mix of respect and wariness. He was technically just a chunin from Konoha, but his power exceeded most of theirs. The plan is simple. The Raikage said during one strategy meeting, his massive frame dominating the table. We divide our forces into multiple divisions. Each division targets a different Akatsuki member based on intelligence we've gathered. The Tremor King, he looked at Naruto. You'll be our ace. When we locate Pain, you engage him directly while our forces handle his subordinates. Works for me. Naruto leaned back in his chair, which creaked under his weight. But I want Team Guy with me. They've trained to support my fighting style. They know how to stay safe when I cut loose. Granted. Anyone else? Just them. More people would get in my way. The Raikage nodded. Then it's settled. Teams assigned, strategies finalized. We move in 3 days. Those 3 days passed in intense preparation. Naruto trained with Lee and Tenten, refining their coordination, ensuring they could retreat instantly when he used his larger techniques. He also worked on new applications of his power, ways to minimize collateral damage while maximizing effectiveness against Akatsuki. On the eve of the operation, Team Guy gathered one final time. Tomorrow we go to war, Naruto said quietly. Real war, not a mission, not a skirmish. Thousands of ninja fighting for the fate of the continent. People will die. Probably a lot of people. Are you afraid? Lee asked. No, I'm the strongest. I don't have the luxury of fear. Naruto's eyes met his brother's. But I'm concerned that I might not be able to protect everyone, that my power, as great as it is, might not be enough to save all the people who matter. Then we'll save who we can, Tenten said firmly, and we'll trust that the others can save themselves. That's all we can do. Yeah, you're right. Naruto stood, his massive frame silhouetted against the setting sun. Tomorrow, we show Akatsuki what happens when they threaten the entire shinobi world. Tomorrow, we end this. The Fourth Great Ninja War began at dawn. Tens of thousands of allied shinobi forces moved as coordinated units, their targets mapped, their strategies refined. Intelligence had located Akatsuki's main base, a hidden fortress in a remote region, protected by powerful barriers and defended by their enhanced army. Naruto led Team Guy toward that fortress, his observation haki guiding them through enemy territory. They encountered resistance, sound ninja who'd allied with Akatsuki, rogue ninja hired as mercenaries, enhanced soldiers created through forbidden techniques. None of them lasted more than seconds against Naruto's overwhelming power. Shinkuha! A tremor sphere the size of a car erupted from his fist, obliterating a squad of 20 enemy ninja in a single blast. Gekishin! A stomp created localized earthquakes that disrupted enemy formations and allowed allied forces to advance. Kabutowari, Murakumagiri, coated in Conqueror's lightning, carved through defensive positions like they were paper. Within hours, they'd fought their way to Akatsuki's fortress. The structure was massive, easily the size of a small village, built into a mountain, protected by barriers that shimmered with malevolent energy. There, Naruto said, pointing to the fortress. Pain is inside. I can sense him, along with several other powerful signatures. The other Akatsuki members? Lee asked. Some of them. Not all. They've split their forces. Naruto's observation haki painted a clear picture. Pain, Itachi, Kasame, and 3 others I haven't met are in the fortress. The rest are probably defending other locations or hunting Jinchuriki. What's the plan? I go in. You two stay outside and prevent anyone from escaping. If any Akatsuki members try to flee, signal me and I'll handle them. If enemy reinforcements arrive, retreat to the allied forces. Naruto's voice was firm. Your job is support and cleanup. My job is pain. Brother, you cannot fight 6 S-rank ninja alone. Watch me. Naruto's entire body erupted with perfect tremor mode. Black armament coating him completely, Conqueror's lightning crackling around him, his observation haki expanding to cover the entire fortress. I've been holding back this entire war. Time to show Akatsuki what I'm really capable of. He walked toward the fortress gates, each step deliberate. The barriers tried to stop him, powerful seals designed to repel intruders. His armament-coated fist punched through them like they were tissue paper. The gates tried to hold, reinforced steel designed to withstand siege weapons. His tremor-enhanced kick shattered them into fragments. Inside, the fortress was a maze of corridors and chambers. Naruto's observation haki guided him directly toward Pain's location, ignoring the defensive positions and traps scattered throughout. He encountered the first Akatsuki member in a central chamber, the plant creature that had fought him before. Tremor King, it said, its dual voices echoing. You shouldn't have come alone. I'm never alone. I've got my family watching my back. Naruto raised his fist. Now get out of my way or get destroyed. The plant creature attacked, its body splitting to reveal a Venus flytrap-like maw filled with teeth. Vines erupted from the ground, trying to entangle Naruto's legs. Shima Urashi. Naruto punched down, and the island tilting technique activated. The entire chamber rotated, gravity shifting, the floor becoming the wall. The plant creature's vines lost their grip, its body tumbling through the air. Gekishin. A tremor-enhanced punch caught the creature mid-fall, and the impact was so severe that the plant body literally disintegrated, reduced to mulch by the vibration force. 1 down, 5 to go. He continued through the fortress, his observation haki tracking the remaining Akatsuki members. The next encounter was Kasame, who'd apparently recovered from their previous fight. Back for more? Naruto asked. I don't run from strong opponents. Kasame grinned, retrieving Samehada. This time, I'm ready for your tricks. Tricks? I don't use tricks. I just hit things really hard. Kasame attacked with impressive speed, Samehada swinging in complex patterns designed to drain chakra and create openings. Against a normal opponent, it would have been devastating. Naruto caught Samehada with one hand and punched Kasame with the other. The Shark Man's enhanced durability meant he didn't die instantly, but the tremor-enhanced punch still sent him crashing through 3 walls before he finally stopped, unconscious and bleeding. 2 down. The third encounter was with a new opponent, A man whose body seemed to be made of paper origami, able to reform after damage. He attacked with paper spears and blades, each one sharp enough to cut steel. Paper release? Naruto analyzed the technique. Interesting, but paper burns. His armament-coated hand grabbed several paper blades, and the friction from his tremor power created enough heat to ignite them. The flames spread to the attacker's body, and despite his reformation ability, fire consumed paper faster than he could recreate it. The screaming stopped after 30 seconds. 3 down. He found Itachi in a throne room, like the Uchiha standing calmly, as if he'd been expecting Naruto's arrival. "You've come far," Itachi said. "Defeated 3 Akatsuki members without breaking a sweat. But I'm different. I know your abilities. I've prepared countermeasures." "Yeah? Show me." Itachi's Mangekyo Sharingan activated, and the world seemed to shift. Tsukuyomi, the ultimate genjutsu that could trap opponents in an illusionary world for what felt like days. Naruto's observation haki detected the chakra manipulation, and his conqueror's haki simply rejected it. His willpower was so overwhelming that even Itachi's legendary genjutsu couldn't take hold. "Told you before, genjutsu doesn't work on me." "Then how about this?" Itachi made hand seals, and a massive construct formed behind him. Susanoo, the ultimate defense technique of the Mangekyo Sharingan. A skeletal warrior made of chakra, wielding a spirit sword and shield. "Now that's impressive," Naruto admitted. "Good thing I've got an answer for it. Kaishin!" He punched the ground, and the ocean earthquake technique activated despite being nowhere near water. The tremor was so severe that even chakra constructs were affected. Susanoo's skeletal structure cracked and fractured under the vibration assault. Atmospheric split. Naruto clapped his hands together, and the compressed air shockwave that erupted was powerful enough to shatter Susanoo completely. Itachi, caught in the backlash, was thrown backward, blood trickling from his eyes, the cost of using Mangekyo techniques too extensively. "You're strong, Itachi. Probably one of the strongest Uchiha ever born. But I'm stronger." Naruto walked forward. "Stay down. I don't want to kill you if I don't have to." Itachi tried to stand but collapsed, his body at its limit. You're a monster." "Maybe, but I'm the monster protecting my family. That makes all the difference." Naruto left Itachi unconscious and continued toward Pain's location. 4 down, 2 to go. The 5th encounter was brief, a masked man whose body could phase through attacks, making him intangible. But Naruto's advanced observation haki could predict when the man would solidify the counterattack, and a precisely timed Gekishin punch ended the fight before it began. Finally, Naruto reached the throne room's deepest chamber, where Pain waited. The Akatsuki leader stood in the center of a massive circular room, his ringed eyes glowing with power. But he wasn't alone. 5 other bodies stood around him, each with the same ringed eyes, each radiating the same strange chakra. The 6 paths of pain, Naruto's observation haki analyzed. 6 bodies, 1 mind. Interesting technique. "You've defeated my subordinates," Pain said, his voice echoing from all 6 bodies simultaneously. "Impressive, but you cannot defeat me. I am a god. I possess power beyond your comprehension." "God, huh?" Naruto's grin was feral. "Let's see if a god can survive the Tremor King." The 6 paths of pain attacked as one, their coordination perfect. The Diva path used gravity techniques to push and pull. The Asura path fired missiles and lasers from mechanical arms. The human path tried to extract Naruto's soul. The animal path summoned massive creatures. The Preta path absorbed chakra. The Naraka path provided healing and resurrection. Against any normal opponent, even Kaj level, the 6 paths would have been overwhelming. Each body covered the other's weaknesses, their techniques synergizing perfectly. But Naruto wasn't a normal opponent. His observation haki tracked all 6 bodies simultaneously, predicting their attacks 3 seconds before they landed. His armament haki protected him from techniques that would have killed normal ninja. His tremor power allowed him to counter every attack with devastating force. Shinkuha! A tremor sphere caught the Asura path mid-attack, destroying its mechanical body entirely. Gekishin! A stomp created an earthquake that disrupted the animal path's summons, forcing them to disperse. Kabutawari! Murakumogiri carved through the human path before it could touch him. 3 paths down, 3 to go. The Deva path, the main body, intensified its gravity techniques. Chibaku Tensei! The black sphere formed in the ceiling, pulling everything toward it with irresistible force. Naruto had countered this technique before, but Pain had refined it, made it stronger, faster, more difficult to escape. Impressive improvement, Naruto acknowledged. But not enough. Dual Gekishin. He punched upward with both fists, and the twin tremor spheres, each one crackling with Conqueror's lightning, shot toward the Chibaku Tensei. The collision was even more apocalyptic than before, creating an explosion that destroyed the ceiling and exposed the chamber to the sky. When the dust cleared, the Chibaku Tensei was shattered, and the remaining 3 paths of pain stood in craters. "You're strong," Naruto said, breathing slightly heavier than before, the first sign of actual exertion. "Strongest opponent I've fought so far, but you're missing something critical." "And what is that?" Pain asked, his voice strained. "You're fighting to impose your will on the world. I'm fighting to protect my family. Your motivation makes you powerful. Mine makes me unstoppable." His entire body erupted with perfect tremor mode at maximum output. The pressure was so intense that the fortress itself began to crack, the stone walls unable to withstand the sheer force of his presence. This is what it means to fight someone who has everything to lose and nothing to fear. This is the difference between us. Tremor King's Dominion. The technique he'd used against Gaara, refined and perfected over 3 years, activated at full power. His tremor ability spread in a controlled sphere that encompassed the entire chamber, forcing everything within it to vibrate at its chosen frequency. The remaining paths of pain tried to resist, but their bodies couldn't withstand the sustained vibration. One by one they collapsed, not destroyed, but incapacitated, their chakra networks disrupted by the tremor assault. When the technique ended, only the Deva path remained standing, and barely. Pain's main body trembled, his ringed eyes showing something approaching disbelief. "This is impossible. I am a god. I possess the Rinnegan. I cannot be defeated by a mere mortal." "You're not a god. You're just a man with powerful eyes and a tragic backstory." Naruto walked toward him, each step deliberate. "And I'm not a mere mortal. I'm the Tremor King. I'm the strongest man alive. I'm the guy who just ended Akatsuki's threat to my family." His fist, coated in Conqueror's haki, drove into Pain's chest. The impact sent the Akatsuki leader flying backward, crashing through the fortress wall and out into the open air beyond. Naruto followed, his body moving with impossible speed. He caught Pain mid-flight and delivered a devastating combo, 3 Gekishin punches in rapid succession, each one creating shockwaves that rippled across the battlefield. The final punch sent Pain crashing into the ground with enough force to create a crater visible from miles away. Naruto landed beside the crater, looking down at Pain's broken body. The Akatsuki leader was still conscious, but barely, his Rinnegan eyes flickering as his chakra reserves approached 0. "It's over," Naruto said. "Akatsuki is finished. Your plan to gather the Biju ends here." You think you've won?" Pain coughed blood. "Akatsuki is more than just me. We have allies, resources. Even if you defeat us all, someone else will rise to threaten your precious peace. Then I'll defeat them too, and the next threat, and the one after that." Naruto's voice was absolute certainty, because that's what the strongest man does. He protects his family no matter what. No matter how many enemies come, no matter how powerful they are, I will always be stronger. Pain's eyes closed. "You're a monster. Maybe, but I'm the world's monster, and that makes all the difference." The Akatsuki leader fell unconscious, and Naruto stood alone in the battlefield, surrounded by the unconscious or dead bodies of Akatsuki's most powerful members. His observation haki swept the area, confirming that the threat was truly over. Behind him, Lee and Tenten approached, their eyes wide with awe. "Brother," Lee breathed, you defeated them all, the entire Akatsuki leadership, by yourself." That was the plan. Naruto turned, his perfect tremor mode deactivating, his body returning to normal. "Is everyone else okay?" The allied forces are mopping up the remaining enemy forces. Casualties were surprisingly light thanks to your initial assault. You drew all the strongest opponents to yourself, making the regular soldier's job much easier. "Good. That's what I was hoping for." Naruto looked back at the destroyed fortress. "Let's secure the prisoners and head home. I'm tired of war." The aftermath of the Fourth Great Ninja War was complex. The allied shinobi forces had won decisively, Akatsuki was destroyed, and the threat to the Biju was eliminated. But the cost was real. Hundreds of ninja had died, thousands more were injured, and entire regions had been devastated by the fighting. Naruto participated in the peace talks that followed, his presence ensuring that all 5 nations honored their agreements. The Kages, faced with the overwhelming power he demonstrated, were more than willing to maintain the alliance. "You could rule us all," the Mizukage said during one private conversation. "With your power, you could conquer every village, force us all to submit. Why don't you?" "Because ruling isn't strength. Protecting is strength." Naruto's answer was simple. "I'm the Tremor King, not the Tremor Dictator. I don't want to control people. I just want my family safe and happy. Everything else is secondary." 3 months after the war ended, Naruto returned to Konoha. The village greeted him as a hero, the man who'd ended Akatsuki, who'd protected the entire continent, who'd proven himself the strongest ninja alive. But Naruto didn't care about the celebration or the recognition. He went straight to Team Guy, gathered them on their traditional roof, and smiled. "We did it," he said simply. "The war is over. Akatsuki is gone. Our family is safe. For now," Tenten said, "but there will always be new threats, new enemies. Then we'll face them together, like always." Naruto's grin widened. "Besides, I'm starting to think Lee might actually catch up to me someday. Kid's gotten fast. I am honored by your faith, brother, but I know I can never match your power. Not my tremor power, no, but your taijutsu, your speed, your determination, those are yours alone, and they're incredible." Naruto's voice grew serious. "I'm the strongest because of my abilities, but you 3, you're strong because of your spirit, and that's way more impressive." Guy smiled, his eyes suspiciously moist. "That is the most youthful thing I've ever heard you say, Naruto. Don't get used to it. I've still got a reputation to maintain." They laughed together, and for the first time in months, Naruto felt truly at peace. The war was over. His family was safe, and the future, for once, looked bright. But his observation haki detected something, a disturbance far to the west, a chakra signature that felt ancient and malevolent. Something was awakening, something that had been sealed away for generations. "There's always a bigger threat," Naruto muttered. "Always another fight." "Brother?" Lee noticed his expression. "What is wrong?" "Nothing immediate, just sensing something far away. Probably nothing to worry about yet." Naruto stood, stretching his massive frame. "But if it becomes a problem, we'll handle it. Same way we handle everything else, together." 6 months later, the disturbance Naruto had sensed manifested. An ancient being, sealed away by the Sage of Six Paths himself, broke free. Kaguya Otsutsuki, the mother of chakra, returned to reclaim what she considered her world. Her power was unlike anything Naruto had faced before. She could manipulate space itself, create dimensions, reshape reality. She was, by all accounts, a goddess, and she was coming for the chakra fruit, the accumulated chakra of every living being on the planet. The allied shinobi forces mobilized again, but this time, even their combined might seemed insufficient. Kaguya's abilities were beyond conventional shinobi techniques. She could teleport entire armies into lava dimensions. She could erase people from existence with her ash-killing bones. She could absorb any chakra-based technique. "We need the Tremor King," the Kages said unanimously. "He's our only chance." Naruto, who'd been training in isolation since the war ended, arrived to find the allied forces in full retreat. Kaguya stood in the center of the battlefield, her pale skin glowing, her horn-like protrusions marking her as something beyond human. "Another insect," she said, her voice cold. "You will all return to the chakra from which you came." "Not happening." Naruto stepped forward, his presence immediately drawing her attention. "I'm Naruto Uzumaki, the Tremor King, and I'm here to send you back to whatever hell you crawled out of." Kaguya's eyes, Byakugan combined with Rinne Sharingan, analyzed him. "You possess no chakra. How interesting. A being without the gift I brought to this world. What are you?" "I'm the guy who's about to show you that chakra isn't everything." His body erupted with perfect tremor mode at maximum power. Black armament coating, Conqueror's lightning crackling, observation haki painting a perfect picture of Kaguya's capabilities. She attacked first, creating a dimension of lava and attempting to teleport Naruto into it. His observation haki predicted the technique, and his tremor power disrupted the spatial manipulation before it could complete. Space-time manipulation? Cute. But my tremors operate on a fundamental level. I can disrupt the very fabric of reality with my vibrations. He punched the air, and the atmospheric split technique activated. But this time, enhanced with Conqueror's haki and aimed directly at Kaguya, the technique didn't just crack the atmosphere, it cracked the dimension itself. Kaguya's eyes widened in genuine shock as her pocket dimension began to collapse. Impossible! You're destroying my dimension. Told you. I don't need chakra. I just need to hit things really, really hard. They fought across multiple dimensions: lava, ice, desert, ocean. Each time Kaguya tried to use her spatial abilities to gain advantage, Naruto's tremor power simply destroyed the dimension and forced them back to the real world. You're strong? Kaguya admitted after the seventh dimension collapsed. Stronger than any human I've encountered, but you cannot kill me. I am immortal. I am eternal. I am about to get your ass kicked. Kabutawari. Murakumogiri, coated in the most advanced Conqueror's haki Naruto had ever used, swung in a devastating arc. The blade didn't just cut through Kaguya's defense, it carved through the very concept of her immortality, the Conqueror's haki imposing Naruto's will that she could be harmed. Kaguya screamed as the Basento opened a massive wound across her torso. Black blood, not red, but pure darkness poured from the injury. How? I am beyond death. I cannot be harmed. You can be harmed by someone stronger than you, and I'm stronger. Naruto's eyes burned with determination. You're not a goddess. You're not eternal. You're just an alien who came to Earth and got too big for her britches. And now you're going to learn what happens when you threaten my world. His entire body glowed with power. Not chakra, but pure haki, pure willpower made manifest. The pressure was so overwhelming that even Kaguya, a being who'd existed for millennia, felt genuine fear. Tremor King's final technique, world-breaking fist. He drew back his fist, and tremor energy built around it. Not just Shinkuha, not just Gekishin, but every tremor technique he'd ever developed combined into a single point. The air cracked. Space itself distorted. Reality itself seemed to hold its breath. And then he punched. The impact was beyond description. The shockwave rippled across the entire continent, felt by every living being. Mountains crumbled. Oceans receded. The very rotation of the planet stuttered. Kaguya, caught in the full force of the attack, simply ceased to exist. Not sealed, not banished, erased. When the dust cleared, when the tremors finally stopped, when reality reasserted itself, Naruto stood alone in a crater that would later be called the Scar, a permanent mark on the landscape where the Tremor King had saved the world. The allied shinobi forces stared in absolute silence. They just witnessed power that defied comprehension, power that made Bijou seem small, power that had literally erased a goddess from existence. It's over, Naruto said simply, his perfect tremor mode deactivating. Kaguya is gone. The threat is eliminated. Everyone can go home. He walked away from the crater, his body showing signs of exhaustion for the first time anyone could remember. That technique, the world-breaking fist, had pushed even his limits, but his family was safe. His world was protected, and that made it worth it. The aftermath of Kaguya's defeat was transformative. The allied shinobi nations, faced with the reality of threats beyond their understanding, formalized their alliance permanently. The five Kages established a joint council to coordinate defense against future existential threats. And Naruto Uzumaki, the Tremor King, was given a unique title, Protector of the World. Not a political position, not a military rank, simply an acknowledgement that he was, and would always be, the strongest defender humanity had. But Naruto refused any official duties. He returned to Konoha, rejoined Team Guy, and went back to his simple life of training, protecting his family, and occasionally eating ramen at Ichiraku. You saved the world twice, Tsunade said during one of their meetings. You could demand anything, a position on the council, your own village, unlimited resources. Why do you ask for nothing? Because I have everything I need. Naruto's answer was simple. I've got my family. I've got people I care about. I've got a purpose, protecting them. What else could I possibly want? Most people would want recognition, power, legacy. I've got all three. People recognize me as the Tremor King. I have more power than anyone alive. And my legacy? He smiled. My legacy is the people I've protected, The lives I've saved, the world I've defended, that's all the legacy I need. 5 years passed peacefully. Naruto continued training Lee and Tenten, pushing them to heights they'd never imagined. Lee's speed became legendary. There were reports of him moving so fast he could fight Jonin-level opponents blindfolded, using only his observation haki. Tenten's weapon mastery reached levels where she could hit targets across entire battlefields, her armament-coated projectiles capable of piercing any defense. Guy retired from active duty, becoming a full-time instructor at the academy, where he inspired a new generation of ninja with his tales of youthful determination. And Naruto? He grew even larger. 6 feet 8 inches by his 18th birthday, muscles like carved steel, Murakumogiri always at his side. But despite his fearsome appearance, children loved him. He'd spend hours teaching kids at the academy, showing them basic taijutsu, telling them that strength came from protecting what mattered. One day, he told a class of academy students, "You'll find something worth protecting. When that day comes, you'll understand what true strength is. It's not about being the strongest, it's about being strong enough to protect what you love. Remember that." But even peace couldn't last forever. On Naruto's 19th birthday, his observation haki detected something that made even his blood run cold. A presence, far beyond Earth's atmosphere. Ancient, powerful, hostile. The Otsutsuki clan, Kaguya's relatives, had detected her death, and they were coming to investigate. Tsunade Naruto said, walking into the Hokage's office without ceremony. "We've got a problem, multiple problems, in space, heading toward Earth." Space? Tsunade's eyes widened. "Naruto, what are you sensing?" "The same kind of presence Kaguya had, but multiple signatures. At least 3, maybe more. They're traveling through space at speeds that would make even my techniques seem slow. They'll be here in weeks." "The Otsutsuki clan," Tsunade breathed. "Kaguya's people. If they're coming to avenge her." "They're not coming for revenge. They're coming to harvest. Same thing Kaguya wanted, to turn all life on Earth into a chakra fruit." Naruto's jaw set. "But they're not going to succeed, because I'm still here, and I'm still the strongest." Over the next weeks, Naruto prepared. Not by training, he was already at his peak, but by strategizing, analyzing what little information they had about the Otsutsuki, planning for opponents who might actually challenge him. When they arrived, it was with a flash of light visible across the entire continent. 3 figures descended from the sky, landing in a remote area where Naruto had been waiting. They were similar to Kaguya. Pale skin, horn-like protrusions, eyes that held cosmic power. But where Kaguya had seemed almost delicate, these 3 radiated pure predatory intent. "I am Momoshiki Otsutsuki," the first said, his voice dripping with disdain. "This is Kinshiki and Urashiki. We've come to investigate the death of our clan member and to harvest this world's chakra." "Yeah, that's not happening." Naruto stepped forward, his presence immediately drawing their attention. "I killed Kaguya, and if you try to harvest this world, I'll kill you too." The 3 Otsutsuki exchanged glances. Then Momoshiki laughed. "You? A mere mortal? You dare threaten gods?" "Not gods, just aliens with fancy powers." Naruto's entire body erupted with perfect tremor mode. "I'm Naruto Uzumaki, the Tremor King, protector of the world, and you just made the last mistake you'll ever make." The battle that followed would be remembered as the greatest display of power in human history. 3 Otsutsuki clan members, beings who could absorb any chakra technique, who could manipulate space and time, who possessed power that had destroyed entire civilizations, against one man with the power to crack the world itself. Momoshiki attacked first, launching a barrage of chakra techniques absorbed from previous worlds. Fire, water, lightning, earth, techniques that could level mountains. Naruto's armament haki absorbed them all. His body, hardened beyond any material on earth, treating god-level techniques like gentle rain. Shinka! His counterattack, a tremor sphere the size of a building, caught Momoshiki mid-technique. The Otsutsuki tried to absorb it, but tremor energy wasn't chakra. It was pure physical vibration, impossible to absorb. The impact sent Momoshiki flying backward, his body crashing through mountains. Kinshiki and Urashiki attacked together, their coordination perfect. Kinshiki created weapons from chakra, while Urashiki manipulated time itself, trying to trap Naruto in temporal loops. Naruto's observation haki predicted the time manipulation, and his conqueror's haki, the manifestation of his willpower, simply rejected it. Time tried to loop around him and failed, his determination too overwhelming for even temporal techniques to effect. Gekishin! He stomped the ground, and the severe earthquake technique activated at a level never before seen. The entire region tilted, mountains flipped, the very ground beneath them becoming liquid from the vibration intensity. Kinshiki was caught in the tremor and destroyed, his physical body unable to withstand vibrations that operated on a molecular level. Urashiki tried to flee through a time portal, but Naruto's hand shot out, and even though the Otsutsuki was entering a different timeline, the Tremor King's grip, enhanced with advanced armament and Conqueror's haki, reached across dimensional boundaries and grabbed him. No running. You came to harvest my world. Now you face the consequences. Kabutowari, Murakumogiri, coated in the most intense Conqueror's lightning Naruto had ever generated, carved through Urashiki's time manipulation abilities and bisected him. 2 down. 1 to go. Momoshiki, having recovered from the Shinkuha, stared at Naruto with genuine fear. You're not normal. What are you? I'm the Tremor King. I'm the strongest man alive. I'm the protector of the world. Naruto's eyes blazed, and I'm the guy who's about to show you what happens when you threaten my family. His body erupted with power beyond anything he'd shown before. Black armament covered him completely, but now it glowed with red energy. Conqueror's haki pushed past its normal limits. His observation haki expanded to cover the entire continent, sensing every life he was protecting. This is my full power. This is what I've been holding back this entire time. This is what it means to fight the Tremor King at maximum output. The pressure of his presence was so overwhelming that reality itself began to crack. The sky darkened. Lightning struck without clouds. The very laws of physics seemed to bend around him. World-breaking fist. Maximum output. He punched with both fists, and the resulting shockwave was visible from space. The tremor didn't just affect the immediate area, it rippled across the entire planet, felt by every living being, a reminder that they were protected. Momoshiki tried to defend, creating barriers of absorbed chakra, manipulating space to redirect the attack, using every technique he'd gathered across multiple worlds. None of it mattered. The world-breaking fist, enhanced with maximum Conqueror's haki, didn't just destroy Momoshiki's defenses, it erased them. Not broke through, erased, as if they'd never existed. The Otsutsuki's body was hit by the full force of the attack, and for the second time in his life, Naruto witnessed someone simply cease to exist, erased by the overwhelming power of his technique. When the dust cleared, when the tremors finally stopped, when reality reasserted itself, Naruto stood alone in a crater that made the previous one seem small. He just defeated 3 Otsutsuki clan members, beings that could destroy worlds, beings that had conquered civilizations, and he'd done it alone. The Kages, watching from a safe distance through surveillance techniques, could only stare in absolute awe. The Tremor King had just proven beyond any doubt that he was the strongest being on Earth, possibly the strongest being in the known universe. Naruto deactivated perfect tremor mode and immediately collapsed to one knee. The world-breaking fist at maximum output had pushed even his limits. His body trembled with exhaustion, his breathing heavy for the first time in years, but he was smiling. "Family safe," he muttered. "Worlds protected. That's all that matters." Lee and Tenten, who'd been waiting at the crater's edge, rushed to support him. "Brother, are you all right?" "I'm fine. Just tired. That technique takes a lot out of me." Naruto stood, leaning on Murakumogiri like a walking stick. "But it's over. The Otsutsuki threat is eliminated. Earth is safe." "For how long?" Tenten asked quietly. "How long before the next threat arrives?" "Don't know. Don't care." Naruto's grin widened. "Because no matter what comes, I'll face it. I'll protect my family. I'll defend my world. That's what the Tremor King does. That's who I am." The aftermath of the Otsutsuki defeat marked the beginning of a new era. The allied shinobi nations, faced with threats from beyond their world, began researching space, developing technologies to detect extraterrestrial dangers before they arrived. But everyone knew the truth. Their real defense wasn't technology or strategy. It was Naruto Uzumaki. The Tremor King became a living legend, his name spoken across the world with reverence and awe. Stories of his battles were told to children as bedtime tales. His techniques were studied by scholars trying to understand the fundamental nature of his power. His legend grew with each passing year, but Naruto himself remained unchanged. He still trained every day, still protected his family, still ate ramen at Ichiraku, still laughed his distinctive gurararara when something amused him. He was, despite everything, still just Naruto. 10 years after the Otsutsuki defeat, Naruto stood on a hill overlooking Konoha, his now 29-year-old body even more imposing than before. Lee and Tenten stood beside him. Both of them had become jonin, both legendary in their own right, though neither could match Naruto's overwhelming power. "Brother," Lee said quietly, "do you ever regret it? Having so much power? Being the strongest?" Naruto was quiet for a long moment, his observation haki sensing the thousands of people in the village below, people living peaceful lives, raising families, pursuing dreams. "No," he said finally, "because all this power, it exists for one purpose, protecting them, protecting you, protecting everyone I care about. If I wasn't this strong, if I couldn't face threats like Akatsuki or Kaguya or the Otsutsuki, then everyone I love would be in danger. So no, I don't regret it." "What about your dream?" Tenten asked. "You said you wanted an unbreakable family. Did you achieve it?" Naruto smiled, looking at his two closest friends. "Yeah, I did. You two are my family. Guy Sensei is my family. Tsunade, the people of Konoha, everyone I've protected over the years, they're all my family. And as long as I'm alive, as long as I'm the strongest, that family will never break, because I won't let it." His hand tightened around Murakumogiri, the Bisento that had been with him through every battle, every triumph, every moment of growth. "I'm the Tremor King. I'm the strongest man alive. I'm the protector of the world. But more than any of that," his grin widened, "I'm Naruto Uzumaki, and I'm exactly where I want to be, surrounded by family, protecting what matters, living the dream I've always had." Thunder rumbled in the distance, and Naruto's observation key detected a small disturbance far to the east. Nothing major. Probably just some bandits attacking a village. "Looks like I've got work to do," he said, standing. "You two coming?" "Always," Lee replied. "Wouldn't miss it," Tenten added. They set off together, the Tremor King and his family, heading toward whatever challenge awaited. Because that's what they did. That's who they were. And somewhere in the cosmic expanse beyond Earth, in the cold void between stars, the remaining Otsutsuki clan members detected the death of Momoshiki, Kinshiki, and Urashiki. They detected the power signature of the one who'd killed them, and they made a collective decision. Earth was off limits. The being known as the Tremor King was beyond their capability to defeat. Some worlds simply weren't worth harvesting. Naruto would never know about that decision. He didn't need to. All he needed to know was that his family was safe, his world was protected, and his dream was real. Epilogue. The legend continues. 15 years later, Naruto stood on the same hill, now 44 years old. His hair was slightly longer, his frame somehow even more impressive. Scars from countless battles marking his arms and chest, but never his back. Lee and Tenten had married each other 5 years ago, their bond forged through years of training and fighting alongside the Tremor King. They had a daughter now, a bright-eyed 6-year-old who called Naruto uncle and begged him for stories about his battles. Guy had retired fully, spending his days at the academy inspiring new generations. Tsunade had stepped down as Hokage, passing the title to a younger generation. The allied shinobi nations had evolved into a true global government, with representatives from every village working together. But through all the changes, one constant remained. Naruto Uzumaki, the Tremor King, the strongest man alive, Uncle Naruto. Lee's daughter ran up the hill, her small legs pumping with determination. "Tell me a story. Tell me about the time you fought the God Lady." Naruto laughed, that same grrrr that had terrified enemies and comforted friends for decades, and scooped the girl up with one massive hand. "Which God Lady? I fought a few. The one from space, with the horns." "Ah, Kaguya. Well, that's quite a story." He settled onto the grass, the girl sitting in his lap, and began narrating the tale. Lee and Tenten watched from a short distance, smiling. "He's going to be telling those stories for the rest of his life," Tenten said softly. "And children will listen with wonder every time," Lee replied, "because they are not just stories, they are truth. Our brother saved the world, multiple times. Do you think there will be more threats, more enemies for him to face? Perhaps, but if they come, Naruto will face them. He will protect us. That is what family does. Lee's eyes shone with pride, and he is the strongest family could ask for. On the hill, Naruto finished his story, and the little girl stared at him with wide eyes. You really punched a goddess so hard she disappeared? Yep, world-breaking fist, my strongest technique. Can you teach me? Naruto laughed again, ruffling her hair with surprising gentleness for someone so powerful. Maybe when you're older. For now, focus on the basics. Learn taijutsu from your dad. Learn weapon skills from your mom. And most importantly, his expression grew serious. Learn what it means to protect what you love, because that's the real source of strength. Like how you protect everyone. Exactly like that. The girl smiled and hugged him, her small arms barely reaching around his massive frame. And Naruto, the man who defeated Sannin and Akatsuki and gods and cosmic invaders, who'd cracked continents and split skies, who possessed power that defied comprehension, he hugged her back with infinite gentleness, because that's what family did. They protected each other, they supported each other, they loved each other. And Naruto Uzumaki, the Tremor King, the strongest man alive, had finally achieved his dream, an unbreakable family that would last forever, protected by power beyond measure, bound by love beyond breaking. The sun set over Konoha, casting long shadows across the village. And on that hill, the Tremor King stood with his family, his crew, his precious people, and he smiled. Because this, right here, right now, this was his one piece, his treasure, his everything, and nothing in existence could take it from him. Grrrr, the end. The legend of Naruto Whitebeard Uzumaki, the Tremor King, the strongest man alive, lives on forever in the hearts of those he protected, the world he saved, and the family he built. His power was absolute, his determination unbreakable, his legacy eternal. From the first tremor to the final victory, from genin to legend, from orphan to family man. This was his story. This was his dream realized. This was the journey of the man who combined Naruto's heart with Whitebeard's power and became something greater than either. The strongest doesn't need to conquer. But the strongest doesn't need recognition. The strongest doesn't need anything except the people they love and the will to protect them. That was Naruto Uzumaki's truth. That was the Tremor King's legacy. That was and always will be the meaning of true strength.
And that's how Naruto Uzumaki became the legend who shook the world. If you want to see more overpowered what-if stories that completely flip the script on your favorite anime, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell so you never miss another epic tale. Drop a comment telling me which character you want to see dominate next. Until then, remember, a shinobi's dream never dies.